We're live. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. here on June 11th. Welcome to the meeting on the Harwich Board of Appeals on this date, June 11th, 2026. The purpose of this meeting is to hear and decide applications before the Board of Appeals, which have been brought pursuant to the bylaw of the Town of Massachusetts and the Massachusetts Zoning Enabling Act. As required by law, the town may audio or video record this meeting, which we are. Any person intending to either audio or video record this open session is required to inform the chair. During this meeting, the chair will recognize promptly a member of the board, the secretary, and attorneys presenting the case to inform the chair if a protocol is not being followed. While in open session, those wishing to present comments or ask questions regarding the case are requested to fill out information form on the podium. And I'd like to have the members identify themselves and the attorneys. Amy, starting with you.
Oh, Amy Questle, Town Council.
David Wilson.
John August.
Alexander Donahue.
Brian Sullivan.
Kenneth Dixon. Chris Murphy.
Okay, just before we get started here, didn't want to disappoint anybody by not doing a narrative. So, good evening. Our goal for tonight's agenda is to wrap up discussions of all topics that have been previously presented before the board. Identify and discuss any new pertinent information for the board's consideration. Key will be to confirm all waivers and conditions that will be included in the eventual written decision. In the interest of time, in accomplishing the goal to conclude presentations and discussions, I request that the applicant, their consultants, and the board's peer consultant, VHB, prioritize their presentations and limit discussions to those few issues for which mutual agreement has not been established amongst all parties. There are actually 3 handouts provided to the public which outline the waivers and conditions already identified, and they're available in the table along with the agenda. These reports are also have been loaded up online on the website. So if anyone's viewing, from home, you can go to the website and see those reports. These reports have been reviewed by Amy Questle, Town Council, and Marion Rose, and attorney for the applicant. The status of the agreement on each item is reviewed in these reports. They were also reviewed by Andrew Singer, also attorney for the applicant. Tonight we want to confirm any additional items and work towards mutual agreement on all waivers, conditions, if possible. As always, there will be ample time for public comment. Prior to adjournment, this hearing will be continued until June 25th at 9:30 a.m. I anticipate that the primary agenda item for that hearing will be a review of all pertinent documents, information, waivers, and conditions that are required to be included in the draft decision. Please note that the continued hearing on June 25th is expected to be the last opportunity for both the applicant and the public to comment on this case. In summary, tonight's goal is to conclude both submittal and discussion of all information related to the CPA. Thank you. And I now request the clerk to call the case.
Case number 2026-01. Penrose LLC, agent and applicant, Harwich Affordable Housing Trust, owner of 50 Milk Street, 16-4 Boston, Massachusetts, 02110. As made an application for a comprehensive permit pursuant to Mass General Law 40B, Section 20-23, and then Mass 760 MCR 5600, to construct 14 townhome-style residential structures of 3 to 8 units each, 60 units in total of family rental housing. The case has been continued for May 7, 2026.
Okay, thank you. I think actually BG on the screen is the representative from VHB.
Brian's from Bowler.
Okay, so you want to unmute everybody. Okay. Right. Whoever's dialing in tonight, they're unmuted. Okay. And on the agenda here is, the first thing will be a summary, VHB summary review of their May 11th, 2026 peer review report, and also the report which they submitted, received today regarding review of recommended revisions to both waivers and conditions. So if we can get a visual, go and unmute, is it Zachary or, is it Zachary or, I think it's Grogan, actually. Which person is the,
Brian?
Zachary's from my firm.
huh?
Oh, Zachary.
Okay, so unmute Brian Grogan, and actually keep everybody unmuted.
Well, no, I believe Brian is with the applicant.
Isn't it Paul Haverty?
No,
Oh, we got Paul Haverty's up there. I'm trying to find the VHB consultant.
There is no VHB on there.
Okay.
Who is Bill? Is that, oh, that's this room.
No? Is it?
No.
Looks like there is no VHB.
Okay, well, this agenda is moving quite along. All right, so in the interest of, we actually have, and we can certainly start to discuss, I think, everyone in front of you, you know, as chair, you gotta be flexible. So we have the report that VHB sent in today, which are recommended revisions in board awareness items, all right?
Is that the one dated June 9?
No, this is this one here.
This one here?
Yes, there's this new report, so if we ever refer to this report, I think perhaps we can start, and we're gonna start looking at the conditions and waivers, so I think it's open at the moment. We can begin with the original document that Mr. Singer, Attorney Singer, that you and Amy worked on, and so forth, and Marion, and as well as Paul, or we can start off with the VHB report. What do you prefer?
Well, my thought, Mr. Chairman, for the record, Andrew Singer, here on behalf of Marion Rose with Carmen Chung from Penrose. My thought was that this paper, report that came in today, was reviewing the findings and the conditions and the waivers that we did review with town
Right.
council. So when we discuss conditions waivers, I think we'll be hitting these anyway. But before we do that, I don't know if you want, Mark Waffle had some responses on some of the issues that were in the original
Then
VHB letter.
that's fine, we can kick things off with that. Mark?
Why don't we see?
Yeah,
And
you
then we can jump right
You can
in.
all, wherever you want to stand is fine.
Can you pull up the?
Mark, the floor is yours.
All right. I'll bring up the presentation, but we'll keep this brief. For the record, my name is Mark Warfel, landscape architect with Crowley Cottrell Landscape Architecture. Let's see. So, I just want to speak briefly about the intent of our site lighting design. From the beginning, we've wanted to provide adequate lighting to make this a nice neighborhood as well as safe. And there's been a lot of discussion about dark areas on the site and expectations of lighting those areas. And so that has, this on the screen right now is a markup sketch of the photometric plan that was submitted, discussing kind of our intent and where things stand. So I'll zoom in because I think the big area of concern has been around the central lawn green. And it's been noted a few times that there are light levels here that do not meet guidelines. And I want to call out the area that's circled in green here is where it will be dark. The photometric calculations show that as 0-foot candles, and it's our intention for that to stay dark because it's open green, like it is in the middle of the lawn. But what this does show is that all of the paths that circulate around, the occupiable spaces like the playground or the community garden, are adequately lit. So our goal is, to not make this a mall parking lot. We want it to be appropriate to the site. And we feel that we're following the intent of the bylaw, which is to adequately light the site. That we don't want to overlight it. Also included in this this submission of the photometrics is the overflow parking lot that we've discussed, showing that we're adding some light fixtures there to provide not only the lit sidewalk to the parking lot, but that the parking lot itself is lit for safety and at the levels that are expected.
Just for clarification, the numbers in the grid there are lumens,
Foot
That-
candles,
foot candles?
yes.
Okay.
And another question, if I could, I'm not sure if it's you, I'm just looking at this document, I'm hoping this is one that everybody has. That one says 30 parking spaces. That looks like 20 parking.
No, it's supposed to be 20.
My document, it says 30.
I pull it up, but if that says 30, then you're correct.
The correct number is, what
The
I'm
correct
seeing here
number-
is 20, not 30?
As shown, yes, 20.
If there's a mistake when we go through the conditions, we'll correct it.
Okay.
And then I think additionally, to touch on this quickly, we submitted a parking allocation exercise at the request of the board. And we went through and allocated one parking space per unit. I apologize that it's very small on the screen,
No,
but we
we've all
tried
got our-
we tried to color code it to make it a little more readable. And along with assigning a unit to a space, we measured the walk distance from that space to the front door and calculated in travel time and walking, how long it would take to get to that front door from the parking space. One of the assumptions we made is that that's based on a 3-mile-per-hour average walking speed, which is considered kind of the standard for a able-bodied adult. For 65 plus, the average is 2 miles an hour, so the travel time would be slightly longer, 30% more.
I just want to comment on this, if I could, that I thoroughly appreciated that you took the step on doing this. Personally speaking for myself. And I think this helped me to visualize the parking availability that would be for, what I was concerned about was building 14.
Mhm.
Was key to me. And, your calculations on time and so forth. So I felt it was well done, and I personally, I've toned down my concerns regarding the parking availability for building 14 as a result of seeing this chart.
Good, I'm glad it was helpful.
Okay, so it was very helpful for me. Obviously, I won't be personally making a motion that you assign parking, but I know when we requested you to do this, that we thought it would also be, in the future, a management tool for your team, on site, okay? But at least to help them demonstrate to me, what the situation would be, and if you did have to end up assigning parking and availability for proper parking for 14. I'm not so sure how you're gonna address that, but I believe that's a management decision on your part, not to be governed by, at least, I don't feel, the board. Okay. If there are any other comments on that, please speak up, guys. It's your call.
I think that's a great place to leave it.
No question.
Thank you.
I had actually one more question on the lighting plan, which goes back to my original question. I think it's the type C, G, and H buildings all have walkways to the back of their building. What's the walkway for?
Those go to the storage sheds that are on, their exterior storage sheds on the back of the building. And those are not lit.
Not lit.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to comment on that, Carmen. Anything to add?
I mean, again, you guys manage property, do you anticipate people are gonna wanna get stuff out of their storage unit in the dark?
something.
Well, if they do, it's lit.
No, it's not.
It's not lit.
Not lit.
No, it's not lit
yeah.
for there.
Yeah, it's not lit on any of those, like, those three type buildings. The Cs, Gs, and Hs.
By and large, yeah, I'm just speaking for myself, by and large, the storage sheds are not things you generally have to, oh my God, I have to get in there in the middle of the night, for whatever might be in there generally.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
are the parking spots assigned or allocated? Because I've heard both. So,
Neither,
oh,
neither.
got it.
You-
Penrose manages
This was
it.
a as if they were, right? This was just an exercise to
Exercise, to
show.
demonstrate how parking could work on the site.
And you're okay with that? I thought you wanted,
No, I was, when I made the request, I did it asked them to just demonstrate it, and at that point, I wasn't going to be
okay.
requesting to actually be assigned.
So you're not looking for a condition that they be?
I'm personally not. I
Okay.
don't know about the rest of the board, but I'm personally not looking for
All
a
right, so I'll leave it
condition.
in my notes.
And the applicant's not looking for it either.
Thanks. I got that.
No, but I was having a hard time visualizing the access for parking for 14 and how it was going to just affect all the buildings down that street.
Okay.
All right, and this seemed to clarify things a little bit. And should they decide to go with assigned parking, at least for perhaps building 14 in that first section, at least now we know that can be done without, I don't think, causing a lot of stress in the parking areas, which I was very concerned about. So it relieved my concerns. So I thought it was well done.
I think going back to the sheds, what we can do is kind of do a building-mounted light above the shed door, so that if someone is going in there, that they have light, but I think the intent to kind of not light the walkways is, there are probably bedrooms and people
Yeah, well, I
living.
get it. I mean, I'm torn even myself in bringing it up, is that, from a safety perspective, walking on a dark sidewalk is not great, but on the other hand, all of those sidewalks are pretty adjacent to the property line, and I'm sure the neighbors don't want lights, one just raised their hand, turning on randomly, especially if they were motion activated or something, so I get it. It's sort of like, okay, but they are not lit, I guess is,
Now,
the concern.
bringing this up, I actually, regarding sheds, maybe I wasn't very observant looking at the site plan, but I didn't notice them on the site plan. Were they on the site plan, the sheds?
They're not shed, they're actually like storage alcoves attached to each other.
Attached to the buildings.
They're
That's the
attached,
building.
they're
Okay,
attached, yeah.
thank you, all right.
They're just accessed from
Right,
outside.
okay, now I'm all set. I didn't,
Yep.
appreciate it.
Okay.
That's it? We got 3 hours booked for tonight.
We tried to keep it brief, following your directions.
Can we see, all right, Rachel,
See VHB now.
Oh, Nate, yes, there's someone from BHB.
Nate is from
Right there.
VHB.
Nate.
okay.
NV.
All right, so we need to mute NV from VHB. All right,
Excuse me.
Nate, can we have a visual? Okay, thank you. And Nate, you now have the floor.
Doesn't think we can hear him.
He can't hear it. He's trying to figure it out. Show us he's trying to turn it on.
Looks like he's not muted.
The speakers seem to be muted on the,
Nate, can you hear us? Raise your hand if you can. Okay, thank you.
Ask him to say something.
And can you say something? We don't know if we're hearing you yet.
Looks like he's talking.
if you go next to the time on the bottom, it seems like the speakers are muted. They're on your desktop or computer.
That might be what he's playing with up top.
I don't think Nick was playing the xylophone, so,
Nate, can you hear us? Say something, please.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Let's roll.
okay,
We can
great.
hear you.
So,
Okay,
Thank you.
all
awesome.
right, well, Nate,
You're welcome.
the floor is
Someone's
yours.
always
Okay, I don't know if I need that much of an introduction anymore, but I'm Nate Peretta with VHB for the record. Since the last hearing, VHB received a response on May 28th from Bowler Engineering. We then responded to that on June 9th. I also reviewed the current status of the conditions and the waiver requests language. I did have some recommended revisions or just awareness items that I'd like to discuss.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The first one was the lighting waiver. This is just for the board's awareness. If, I just want to make the board aware that if this waiver is granted, it seems like some of the common green sidewalk plaza area will be minimally lit or unlit completely, based on the current photometric plan. The next item, this was the construction level ADA grading package. This seemed to be partially addressed. The draft conditions appeared to include the accessible parking space and the EV accessibility, but don't really include, obviously, we're not at the construction level yet, but we just would recommend a condition that the construction level spot grades, running slopes, cross slopes, curb ramps, that is all submitted with the building permit plans.
Does the applicant?
Next item was the snow storage, snow removal feasibility.
You can't hear us? Nate, hold on a second. I'd like to have the applicant
Yep.
respond.
We don't have an
Okay.
issue with that.
No issue?
No issue.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, I'll pause after each item, next time. So for snow storage, snow removal feasibility, this didn't really, I didn't see this included in the draft conditions. We just wanted to confirm that this was feasible and operational, for this proposed snow storage removal plan, and the overall approach. We recommend considering adding a condition requiring the applicant to provide like a snow management operations plan prior to the building permit. The plan should identify the proposed snow storage areas, include confirmation from a snow removal contractor or qualified operations professional that the snow can be plowed, stored, and or removed under the proposed layout. We're just concerned with the larger events and whether or not this site has the capacity to do that. We just want to make sure that this could be operationally removed. So some sort of language in there should be considered for that. And
Okay, response?
I think we are gonna be professionally managing the site, and my question is, if we provide a contract to the town, what are you reviewing it for? Like, I think we will be professionally managing it, and we will have a contract in place with a snow plower, and it doesn't seem like something that makes sense as a condition unless the town is. I think it seems like something that we will be doing, but it doesn't.
I think
Here's my quick comment, is the fact that, one, I don't expect your management team to already have contracts in place on a development that's a year and a half away or more. I mean, I'm not, timeframe wise. On the current site plan, given the usual snowstorms we had down the Cape, or the lack of them, so forth, are there areas in the site plan which can be used for storing snow, and are those designated?
Yes, there are snow storage areas that VHB has reviewed, and I think their concern is for snowstorms of 4 feet or larger,
4
but
inches.
4 inches or larger, or more, and that there are adequate snow storage removal pile sites on site, as currently designed.
I mean, I'm assuming if we have a major snowstorm, that you may be doing what a lot of businesses do and so forth, is having to bring in trucks and so forth to cart it away.
Yes.
That's normal management
Yes.
scenario. Does this get addressed by commenting the fact that no, existing parking spaces that have been designated will not be used for snow storage? Does that solve the problem, as far as looking at the site plan and making sure we have adequate parking and et cetera?
I think that since this is part of, ongoing operations, and there are, for our usual snow events, there are spaces on site, as Carmen noted. I think, just the fact that, if it's, I'm not sure it's needed, but if it's, under part of the general conditions that are gonna be in the decision, that the applicant's responsible for snow removal from
Yeah.
the roadways. I mean,
Yeah.
that's, I think that's a given.
Which doesn't impede existing parking spaces.
Well, they said they
In a
have
way that
removal
doesn't
for
impede.
4-inch storms and less, they have spots to dump the
Yeah.
snow.
Right,
So
yeah.
we're all set
pushing
there.
on. And if it's larger, like we had this
Yeah,
year,
this year.
then they're going to, through their professional practice, and they have more than one property, they're gonna have to be at all their properties, the contractor's gonna have to figure out how to deal with it, and maybe it's gonna be
Yeah,
taking it away.
Yeah, I don't want to micromanage this situation.
Right.
And
I think we'll still put a condition that resident parking spaces cannot be used for snow storage.
That's fair.
and that's what that's just my idea.
Yeah, that's,
Do we, the main ones, what about the satellite parking?
and your other properties
What
this
would you like?
past winter, did you have to
It
use
seems like a
parking
logical place
spots
to dump snow.
for snow storage?
I mean, if there's one parking
does.
spot where we didn't,
You know,
because no one's utilizing, and I think we do shovel all the parking spaces when the snow contract comes through. We're not using resident parking spaces as a snow management strategy, but I can't say that at our properties, every single parking spot is always shoveled out.
But you can say as a matter of practice, you're not using a bunch of parking spaces for
Correct.
snow storage.
Correct.
I think that we can word that condition and be acceptable.
And maybe to Mr. August's comment, which not everyone maybe heard, there is the satellite parking, the reserve parking, the 20 spaces we were talking about. If those spaces aren't being used generally, that would be the logical place to put, in it, for a large storm, might be the logical place to put it, And maybe, to what Amy, so it may be a condition that resident parking spaces on the main property shall not be generally, impacted.
Well, when Brandon's not looking, you can dump it someplace else up there. But go ahead.
We okay?
All right, so, can we go on now to the deliveries? Next item.
Okay, yeah, so the deliveries, that didn't look like that was included. It looked like there was only language for the dumpster and recycling controls. I think we would just suggest considering a condition that the deliveries, move-ins, move-outs, especially like with the weekend and after-hours activities, that there's protection for the pedestrian routes, emergency access, accessible routes.
How do you guys do it now in your other
Yeah,
developments?
it's because it's a management, again.
Yeah, I think oftentimes during the early move-in season, we will probably cone off 1 or 2 spots for the truck to park in temporarily while move-in is happening, and it's arranged while our property management is there from 9 to 5. If they're moving in with special needs for the weekend, then management is there to help facilitate, and, yeah.
All right, so a condition that management will institute a program with tenants to reserve move-in spaces ahead of time will be instituted.
Well, or maybe just a condition that management will ensure that there is access on the roads. You know, again, there might be a truck that stops for a few minutes, unloads something, but as it says here, temporary parking reservation, I think that's the cones that Carmen was talking about. But, you know, maybe a condition, you know, for Amy, you know, management will
Management will
ensure.
implement a move-in and move-out plan ensuring accessibility to the residences. I've never done I've never done
Yeah,
a
this is-
condition like this, because this is this is really,
This is management.
it's
Management.
Is
management.
this micro? Okay, so we can drop it. You
think it
guys just, you know,
Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
I have no problem with that.
okay.
if they don't
They will,
have any kind of plan, then they're gonna hear a lot of complaints from people.
sure.
So,
They'll know it before anybody.
right, I don't think we need to do that, yeah.
Okay, Zach, the next item on, Nate, excuse me, Nate, the next item
Yeah.
on pedestrian route?
Yeah, so this is just regarding the pedestrian route with the Mass AAB FHA issue. We're deferring to town council on this issue, but we're just recommending that there's a condition that if town council determines that this accessible route is required, then the applicant revises the plans.
I think that's been resolved, we can't,
We have a condition that says they have to comply with all federal, state, and local permits that are not waived. So if this is required under the MABB, which is not us, MAAB, which is not us, because that's a state agency,
so,
so it's not up to us.
our expectation is the state agency is not gonna require a sidewalk because of the grade, is that correct?
No, I don't know, but I'm not sure that, the Architectural Access Board will consider the building to be
I think it was
public.
considered a driveway, right? There was no requirement.
Exactly, it's not a
Yeah,
public
this,
road.
this is not a subdivision, so it's just a
Realize that.
driveway, yeah.
Well, can we have that conversation? Because I'm looking at your memo from dated April, or I'm sorry, May 5th, that says, further from the waiver requests that are available on town's page of Penrose 40B, it seems like the applicant has not requested waivers from the subdivision regulations. So you're not requesting a waiver from subdivision regulations?
'Cause they're-
Correct, because it's not a subdivision.
It's not a subdivision.
It's inapplicable,
So
because
that's
this
where
is one lot.
the grade comes in on the subdivision regulation, so what I was trying to get at is they don't have to worry about the grades because they're not requesting a subdivision.
Okay. So we can't add a condition for VHB's request if this is not applicable.
Correct. You have a condition that says the applicant must comply with all state and federal requirements.
And you have no issues with that applicant?
Oh, no.
No.
That's in every single.
I know, I get that.
No issue.
We don't
Not
have
giving
tomorrow.
that
We don't
one
have
up.
another
We don't
meeting.
even need
We're
that
gonna clear these
condition.
up and get done
Wouldn't
with them.
expect me to object
Completely
to that one.
redundant to the regulations.
Yeah.
You never know, you're new to the process, you may,
I thought the point was that there was no requirement that legally required them to do it.
Right.
yes,
Correct.
that's my
You can
understanding.
make a condition to say they have to comply with everything, but they obviously have to comply with everything anyway.
Correct.
No, I'm not putting.
So
Well-
we don't know if they have to comply. I wouldn't go as far as saying that they don't have to. It's up to the Architectural Access Board. Their definition of a public building is extremely broad. Their definition of a public building, it's multifamily, it's not necessarily a building open to the public, but that's not for us to worry about, because that is a state regulation. That's like, we can't look at the wastewater treatment plant on, other projects, because that's under DEP control. This is under the Architectural Access Board's control.
Meaning we do not need a special condition for this one.
Right,
Correct.
okay, on to, school bus approval.
Yeah, for the school bus approval, what I read, it just says that the applicant shall work with the school district to identify a safe location. We're just recommending that we consider that there's a plan submitted to the ZBA before the building occupancy that shows that location.
All right, my thoughts on that is that our hearings are gonna be concluded, so if there's any type of,
But it,
we were not gonna reopen the
We
hearings.
have that addressed.
but
in
if
the
I remember, that was addressed in one of the
Right,
discussions, that
yes.
the expectation is no wait by the community building, right? That's where the
Correct.
pickup
Well,
will be.
no, there's a condition coming up that you'll see.
Yeah, we have a condition in the draft conditions that covers this.
All right, so we're all set with that one. Okay, on to stormwater planning. The time of the EPA filing documentation.
Yep, so this is just a minor change to the language that says that the NOI, EPA, NIPD's, that those are filed to the ZPA prior to, I think the language says site construction right now, but we'd also recommend before land disturbance.
Submitted to the ZBA or the building commissioner? Once we make our decision, we're done.
Yeah, and this is a federal requirement, for NIPD, so it has to be complied with under the other condition that Amy mentioned.
We generally have, prior to construction, that they submit the NIPD's permit and the
Right.
SWIP.
I'm just saying it says to the ZBA, but it's
Yeah,
not to us.
no,
It goes
To
it would go to the, it would go
The
to
building
Rachel.
commissioner.
Yep.
the building official.
It's submitted with the files. Yeah, okay.
I think that VHB, if I'm hearing Nate correctly, he's suggesting not just before any on-site construction, he's also saying or land disturbance, but isn't that the same on-site?
It's, for us, it's gonna be the same. We're not gonna be doing land disturbance before we start the vertical construction.
No
All right, so
So that's a
grading?
no.
You're not gonna do grading and you're not gonna do,
We're gonna pull the building permit
you are.
and do everything. It's gonna be, yeah, there's not gonna be some sort of phased one part land disturbance and then vertical construction.
Okay.
Once we do it, it's gonna be building permits.
Okay.
All right, so we have this covered elsewhere on the conditions as well as in the decision, correct? So, okay. Earthwork change.
Yep. So earthwork, I think the language that I read said earthwork analysis summary as recommended by VHB is just gonna get a little bit more detailed than that. If I was to think, it sounds like you're looking for input from us, on that. So I would consider, just a revision that, requires that the final quantities, volumes, truck trips, and like, I guess if the quantities exceed the current estimate, then that should be resubmitted to the town or permitting authority or building department, so that it could be re-reviewed.
How much land, how much earth do you anticipate bringing in or taking out? Any idea?
Earthwork model, they submitted this to us.
Okay. So what is what's the over and under of what's going out and what's coming in?
Should be on that.
I think Angela's saying she needs to look at it in your hands. She might not have one with her.
Can I hand it to you so you can
Yeah,
answer the
you want
question?
to look at you?
Brian?
So what I'm seeing here is you got a fill volume of 10,600 cubic yards and a cut volume of 4,300, so you're bringing in 10,000 cubic yards of material?
It imports the difference.
Okay, or-
4,500.
Oh, that's coming in? Okay. Now, I think the only thing in learning from the last project, I brought up was the fact that the fill coming in be checked or tested before it's, for whatever, before it's dropped off on the site.
To make sure it's clean fill.
Clean fill. So,
We have a condition for that.
okay, that condition's in there? Okay.
Well, it's not in here, but I have one.
All right, so I'd like to do a condition on the fill being checked, that it's clean before being dropped off.
I think we usually get like yeah, we'll check what we usually get. Like, we wouldn't test it once we bring it on site, but we get a certificate that has a clean bill of health
Yeah.
before we bring it on site.
Yes, that's all.
Now to
Okay.
comply, I think, with
Yeah.
the
You'll have to
condition.
have a DEP
Yeah.
permit for it anyways, right?
Yeah, proof, certification that it's been cleaned.
Yeah.
Not looking for a lab technician to
Yeah.
be standing in the pile. But I would like to know someone certifying that it's
Yep.
clean fill.
Yep,
So you don't
we
need,
want that too.
you don't need a waiver for earth removal at all?
Sounds like they're not removing it.
You're just bringing it in?
Just moving it around.
Moving it around and bringing more in.
Okay.
Yep.
About
Okay,
150 truckloads, so
You know better than me.
probably does.
Correct.
All right, parking overhang.
Yeah, this has to do with the compact spaces. I don't know if we ever saw a plan with the final compact spaces. But I think that this should be, there could be a condition that specifies that the final plans have the signage, that there's not obstructions for pedestrians, and that there's adequate drivability, around those spaces.
Yeah, I mean, I concur with that. I think when I brought up the discussion regarding, at a couple of the corners anyways, it was very tight regarding the turning radius, for the emergency vehicles. And I suggest the fact that those key corners on the, that the parking that's there be limited to compact cars only, not having a 20-foot truck, sticking out into the roadway.
And we have a condition for that as well,
Okay,
that provides those spaces, compact cars
I
only.
thought so, yes.
Yeah.
So we're all,
So we've
that
got,
was, that I came from. Okay.
I have a question with regard to trucks. Unless these folks will be different than everybody else, Amazon trucks are gonna be coming in multiple times a day, as well as the other trucks making deliveries. Those trucks are going to cause a problem turning, because many Amazon trucks, at least in my neighborhood, are of sizable, very sizable vehicles. They're at least 20 to 30 feet long. In most cases, they're at least 6 feet wide to 8 feet wide. Those trucks are gonna be allowed up on that property, or is Amazon going to have to reach out to Amazon and have certain trucks make deliveries?
They already put in a plan that showed school buses and fire trucks can do it.
yeah, the turning templates show.
So Amazon trucks should not be a problem.
Shouldn't be a problem.
I mean, they're smaller than school buses and fire trucks.
Not the truck.
Not
it's
the
the
ones I
trailer.
see.
The Amazon truck will be coming onto our property. You can't really, oftentimes you can't really dictate where they're gonna stop. They're gonna stop where they're gonna stop, and,
You have centralized mailboxes, right? I mean,
Correct.
do you require those non-US mail drivers to deliver to that location also? Drop it off at the community center, or are they going around and leaving things on porches everywhere?
I think they're gonna likely leave it on the porches. Our property management can try to direct the Amazon truck driver.
I can't get them to leave it on the right porch at my place either, because I have 18 porches, so. I get it, but
Wait, you don't have a mailroom?
We do have a mail room, and we will have a package room. Whether they use it or not is the
Oh.
question.
yeah, listen,
Okay, got it.
More than likely, it's not gonna be used by delivery,
Oh, okay.
UPS or Amazon. They're just gonna drop it off at the address and keep on trucking.
But, Ms. Donahue, we do believe that while there are some larger trucks, and we all see them, I don't believe they get to school bus length. Or the fire trucks are bigger than those, so I believe they should be fine. They'll come on, they'll stop briefly, unload, and be gone.
Angela Botto with Bowler. I just wanted to add that the truck turning exhibits that we did do show that there's adequate width if a truck is stopped, that a car can still maneuver around that truck and make their way around the site
In the roadways or the turns?
throughout the whole
Even in the
circulation. There's
turns?
adequate.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, but.
Like if a truck is stopped at
If
the.
a truck is stopped,
the
a
turn.
passenger car can maneuver around. A fire truck wouldn't be able to maneuver around, but yeah.
But he's saying where the actual roads turn.
They
I don't think
stop-
a
if
truck
they
is gonna
stop
park
in
in
the
the middle of a
turn.
curve, but,
They stopped in the
Okay.
turn, then
Yeah.
it probably,
right.
no one's.
But
gonna-
I don't think they would, because that's not near a
That's a
door.
management issue.
It would be a management issue.
And they're all on timer, they don't wanna be there any longer than they have to be themselves, that's the problem, because they just wanna dump it and go.
They're in and out, yeah.
That's what we're doing VH.
And they tend to be there.
Amy's
when
waving to
people
me,
are
she
working
has something to
it.
say, folks.
Yeah, Amy.
So when you're done with that one, I have to go back to earth
And then I
removal.
couldn't print it.
Okay.
All right,
So, the reason why I asked is because in the Six Ponds district, you don't have to necessarily take it off-site. It says, within the Six Ponds Special District, no person, firm, or corporation shall undertake any mining of sand or gravel, or excavation, or filling of topsoil or subsoil material exceeding 500 cubic yards, and then, or exceeding a combination of 100,000 square feet.
So we need a waiver.
I think you need a waiver.
to bring in 4,300 to fill?
Yeah.
No, just
just
to
for moving it.
dig,
To move it.
Just a dig.
just to dig and move it around.
Is that,
That's well.
is that section 325, 10890?
No, 325, 102, B1.
Okay, because we had the 10890 in there for the Six Ponds District. We can certainly add that one if you need to be belt and suspenders.
Wait a second. I have 108 as
Or is it,
floodplain designation of floodplain administrator, so that can't be.
maybe the number, there was a provision that we had in the waivers about, from needing a special permit for the planning board review for clearing and grading over 30,000 square feet. That was the one that we had in the waiver list now, not the one you referred.
I think that should be 32598.
Oh, 98, okay, so we might have a typo there, sorry.
Have you looked?
Oh, yeah, okay, we had a typo, apologize. But Amy, you're suggesting under 102B1,
I mean, it's a special permit, so, you don't, it's a special permit, you don't have to get the special permit, but
Yeah.
the board and myself like to see that it be waived, or somehow that it's in there, so when the building inspector or the building commissioner goes to issue permits, they're not looking for that. Actually, it's not a special permit, it's an operations permit from the planning board, so you do need a waiver. So it's 325-102B1.
okay, all right. I just added it here when we get to that, Mr. Chairman.
Title that is sand and gravel mining, though. Title that section,
Earth removal, and then,
sand and gravel mining.
yeah, but there's a
Move it
semicolon,
like that one.
so it includes earth removal, I would say.
Here it is.
So
And then it's
325,
extremely
102B1.
broad, John.
Yeah, we have to add that.
Yep.
I don't think I've seen one that broad.
Well,
B1.
I think it's probably because there was sand and gravel mining in
Yeah,
that area. It's probably why.
Right.
There are pits in the area, not
Yeah, there
here,
are.
but there are pits in the
There
area,
are pits
definitely.
specifically in this area,
Yeah,
dead ones, but, I mean, they're not used, but.
So
Okay.
that would refer to both moving, mining, and delivery of earth, correct? All three.
Yes, and then, the, the condition, I did confirm that we do have, applicant shall test all soils and fill material prior to being brought to the project site to ensure quality.
that's the clean fence.
Is it tested or certified?
This says test, this was in POB 4.
Right.
Oh, POV.
We're going to keep it tested, or are we going to, what the applicant suggested, being certified, which can be a difference?
I'll check with our contractor as to what we typically get and see if we can provide that language to town council.
If it's tested, that's basic minimum.
It is.
Excuse me?
Should be the next
He
level.
said tested is probably minimum.
Oh.
Minimum, then you certify after you test it.
I assume so.
Okay.
Or they just look at it and go, you look clean.
And we don't want that.
Tested and certified, probably putting both words in.
Well, as Carmen said, she'll follow up with their
Okay,
contract.
thank
I mean, my guess is the contractor, especially if these are gonna be used in compaction areas, is gonna make sure that it's good fill. Because buildings sink when it's not.
All
We'll have
right.
a geotech also,
Yeah, yeah.
verifying all of that.
There's a lot that doesn't get compacted anyway.
Next.
Okay, so,
Just again, in case anyone's, I should mention further, at the table in the sign-in, there's, all these documents are on that table, as well as the agenda for tonight, in case anyone doesn't have it. Okay. Go ahead, I'm sorry, keep going.
no,
All right.
I think it's back to Nate for the last one on
Nate,
his.
we're on accessible EV details.
Yep. So, I think the last plans we saw had the EV ready spaces, but those plans didn't show an EV accessible van space. So I think that we should just recommend a condition that provides that space on the plans, if it hasn't been already.
The way we were looking at that, Mr. Chairman, was the same condition that town council had noted that, we are gonna comply with all federal, state, and local permitting, and whatever the state's gonna require, or federal, on that, we will comply with.
That's building code.
with building, yeah.
I'm good with that myself personally. Anybody else have a comment on that? Okay. All right. Nate, stay with us. We're going to now go, I think you got copies of the two exhibits. I think you do.
Yep.
Okay. So Amy, would you prefer to start with the waiver review or the conditions review?
At least when I met with Andrew and Marion and Paul, we were able to go through the waivers very quickly, so if you wanted to try
Okay,
that
let's
first,
go with that.
maybe?
Be great. So folks, we're now on exhibit unnamed, Town of Howard Zoning Board of Appeals Comprehensive Permit Petition. And this is waivers from local requirements and regulations. We all have a copy of that, folks?
Yes.
Okay. All right. A on Howard zoning bylaws, section 328-8, table 1, section 325-18B, et cetera. Multifamily dwelling use and density in the RR and Six Pond zoning districts, 60 units proposed. Any questions on that?
Mr. Chairman, are we just kind of doing a straw poll here, or are we okay with it, or versus do we have questions on it?
I think we ought to do a straw poll. Is that okay, Amy?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, let's do a straw poll. Okay,
It doesn't mean anything, so you can change your mind as long as they know.
okay.
Yeah,
I have no issue.
you're not held to what you're saying right now.
Okay.
Discussion.
Anybody have any issues with that? Okay,
No.
all right, we'll flip through this. Item 2. Section 325-18C, refer to the front setback on corner lot Pleasant Lake Avenue and in Six Ponds District, 25 feet proposed, 50/80 feet required. We all set to that? Anybody have any questions?
No concerns.
Okay, we're all, no concerns. And I'm assuming the applicant, you're all set, no concerns, okay. Section 325-18C, front setback on corner lot Bassett's Lane, and in Six Ponds District, 25 feet proposed, 50/80 feet required. Any, we all set?
No concerns.
No concerns, okay. Section 325-42. Note 1, provided no parking area containing more than 4 spaces or loading area shall be located within a required front yard, where should Bassett's Lane provide a front yard, and where a front yard is required to be 50 feet, closest structure is building 8, 25 feet, and parking is within required front Bassett's Lane yard adjacent to building 11, 26 is 8 feet. Again,
Mr.
I
Chairman,
have no concerns of being on frontage issue to Bassett Lane.
and I was gonna suggest, just for clarity, we should take out the phrase, should Bassett's Lane provide a front yard, because it does. I mean, it's as a private way or public way, it's a public way, we believe, but it's, as a way, it has a front setback. So we could take out the qualifier.
Again, we don't know if Bassett Lane actually exists.
It's a paper road, but it exists and it's on plans. So it exists for planning zoning purposes, is my understanding. I'll
I thought we agreed to leave it.
leave it in there? Okay, then fine. Then leave it in. Fine. I apologize.
Because it is a paper street, yeah.
Because it's paper, okay, because it's paper street, okay.
Okay.
Can I, just a clarifying question on these 2, 3, and 4. We keep saying front setback, but in the zoning, it's usually front, side, and rear. What are we considering? It's like we're considering
There
every
is no rear.
side to
Got
be the
three
front?
fronts, technically,
So we're
possibly.
considering all 3 sides to be the front? There is no, or all 4 sides, should we say?
There's only one side setback, that's on the right-hand side.
The east side is a side
Building
setback.
14, and the only side setback is
Okay.
on that road
The-
going up from
on that side,
14.
Yeah, right.
Other than that, it's all frontage.
Because it fronts roads, that's the
Right.
philosophy there? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's frontage on part of Pleasant Lake Avenue. There's a part that are side setbacks where it jogs in. Remember, there's another property at the corner there?
Yeah.
That's true.
That's a side setback, but where it touches on the roads, they're front setbacks.
No issue.
And no issues, correct, folks?
No issue.
Okay. All right, number 5, section 32543, landscape buffer for trash enclosure and parking turnaround at northeast corner of property where screening is required to be at least 15 feet from a way. Bassett's Lane. Okay, you gotta help me out on this one. Ian.
Yeah, me too.
All right, first of all, the trash enclosures are gonna be fenced in. Correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
But they're not 15 feet from,
But then I think that's the issue.
They're not 15 feet from
the
Bassett's.
from Bassett's.
That's the problem? Okay.
Okay.
That's
Yep.
up here, right?
Yes, yes,
Here.
yep. And there's a condition that will say that it will be fenced and gated to address it.
No issue.
Do we have that condition, or do we need to make that condition?
It's condition 6.
Yeah, we have it.
All right, with no issues, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Number 6, section 32541, 32544. Material requirements of 32543 and technical adherence to 325-132, where 20 lighted and 20 times 9 feet parking spaces on compacted gravel will be located on an off-site auxiliary parking area for residential use. What is the, going up to that area as you cross Bassett's Lane and then go into that section? I'm assuming that's all gonna be stone driveway, or what are we doing there?
Gravel? What are we using for the,
It's pavement until the end of the property.
and then what are we doing on the compacted gravel? That's what.
Okay, so it's gonna be paved up to Bassett's Lane, then compacted gravel all the rest of the way.
Correct.
How is that a waiver? Help me understand that. What's it a waiver from?
I believe the request for a waiver is because off-site parking is allowed for commercial uses under the zoning bylaw. This is not, it's not a commercial use, it's not a straight single-family use, but it's residential in nature. So we want to just be sure that we were, not missing something that, again, technical requirement that the building commissioner would have an issue with later.
All right,
Amy? That-
Correct.
Okay,
okay.
thank you.
Now,
Off-site parking, normally residential uses, you don't allow off-site parking.
Okay, thank you.
all right, strange as this may sound, I believe you're gonna need a curb cut approval from the highway department to go across Bassett's Lane.
But you just said it doesn't exist.
Well, I said that yesterday. But should it exist, you'll need a curb cut.
But is that, so in all seriousness, that's not a zoning waiver, though, right?
Correct.
I'm just letting you know that the highway department may require you.
Okay,
I'm not making a condition,
yeah,
that's not my
Okay.
call.
okay.
But I'm just letting you know the fact that at some point, the highway department may require a curb cut.
Is there any way to put language in here just to clarify that?
Well, now, we're in waivers, not conditions.
Right.
So is that a waiver, Brian?
Yeah.
I know I can't waiver that, we can't waiver that.
Well, no, that's why I said this is,
I know, I just-
actually it's a
I
condition.
think it was more informational, he was just telling
Just
us
trying
we
to-
might have
Giving us
to.
a heads up.
Give me a heads up that I think Lincoln's gonna require a curb cut, should this become a real road, Bassett's Lane. He utilizes the real road.
So we can't waive that requirement for a curb cut?
I don't believe so.
We represent the highway department.
No, we don't.
DPW, sure we do, we represent
Well,
everything.
may-
No, you
I don't know.
represent regulatory permits, like you don't represent the building department for building permits.
right. I
That's
don't-
under the state
that's-
building code.
That's in state building. code.
So,
interesting.
let's see,
Just- I'm just bringing it up now because we wanna deal with it now in case,
Interesting, yeah.
so it looks like the only curb cut requirements are found in the zoning bylaw. I don't see, there's one under flexible
that's right,
cluster.
when we've dealt with this, yes, we require people to get a permit
Scenic
from the highway
roads.
department.
Yeah,
So it is in the bylaws, so we've had to deal with that.
well, it's only under curb cuts to Route 28, scenic roads, and cluster developments, so,
I recall at least having one case where parcel was between two roads, and they wanted to, for the first time, utilize the other road for driveway access. And we had to
But why
require
would-
them to get it.
why would they ever why would we ever waive, or why would they ever want a curb cut waived? I mean, you just go to the DPW and you get a curb cut permit.
Right,
Right.
I realize that, and I don't know what our authority is to already grant them the curb cut.
Yeah,
I don't think we have, we don't
I've never,
have
I
that.
don't think I've ever done that.
Anyways, it may pop up, I'm not gonna send Lincoln a letter tonight on it, but
We'll look into it.
just making that suggestion at some point.
Yeah.
That may, you know, I don't want it to be a detail, all of a sudden someone says, hey, you never came to me with a curb cut, you've already done all this work. So just a thought up front. The main requirement on that is that I doubt that he will, but it will require another sightline review to make sure the sightlines are fine, what the status is for a curb cut leaving your property. So, that's why they go for a permit, to make sure that you're.
But again, it's onto a paper way at this point, so we'll have to deal with Link
Right,
on
that's,
that, but
that's,
it's,
that's down the road, just wanna keep in the back of your head,
Okay.
in case it ever comes up. We're a full-service board here. Okay,
so number 6, which is what we started, that's
we're all set. Anybody got
6, okay.
No issue.
no issues? Okay. Number 7, moving right along.
There is a typo. That should be 32598. If it says something else there, doesn't mind.
I got, wait a minute, the second line says 325.98.
Right, but the first line, does it say, where it starts off section 325, maybe I'm looking at an old copy, but mine had said 108-20, there was a. so
Mine
I-
says 108-90,
Right, now, right, so scratch that, that should be 98 as well. That was a mistake.
so it's 108.98.
No, it's just 325-98.
Okay, I'm sorry, thank you. Six Ponds District requiring planning board special permit and further planning board special permit under 325.98 for clearing and grading over 30,000 square feet.
Yeah, I think,
No issues, folks?
just in the other.
Okay, no issues.
But isn't this the one that Amy said we have to add?
No, it's, no, you have under 325.98, which is also in the Six Ponds, you have this one, but then further down under 325.102. So I'm not really sure why the bylaw has them in two separate sections, but they'll need a waiver from both.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. One was
Happy to
probably-
add them both in.
So where are we adding the language? To this number 7, or are we adding it?
My suggestion, if town
16.
council okay, would be to add it into 7, because it's all 6 ponds.
Sure.
It's all excavation
Okay.
related.
So 325, 102?
Yes.
Imagine the folks that are dialing in, they'll find this pretty exciting stuff.
Riveting stuff.
That's why we have a whole crowd here tonight.
Number 8, Okay. Illumination levels for a full site where the common green is not illuminated at levels required by the Harwich lighting bylaw. I thought Nate's comments were well spoken. However, I don't myself personally see the need for a bright center green area at nighttime.
I agree.
Where it's,
I agree.
I agree.
where, and as long as the sidewalks are properly lit, I think it's,
Sufficient light.
it just wouldn't look like the kind of environment that, for the neighborhood you'd want. I mean, that's all.
We all agree.
Okay, so I'm good to go with the current lighting plan. Do we have to refer to a particular plan that's been submitted?
So that will be at the beginning of the decision. Do you remember we have that whole list of submittals?
Yes,
So that will be in there.
okay, all right. All right, everyone in agreement?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's nice how this stuff got vetted up front. We did all this work beforehand, so this is good. Section 325-130, to the extent that is required to illuminate, the off-site auxiliary parking and the pathway to the project site as all lighted proposed is required by the bylaw to be limited to the project site.
So this is allowing them to put the light in.
It's allowing
Otherwise,
off-site.
it would not be allowed. Okay.
Yep. No
Fine.
problem.
Fine, yeah.
Okay, any? All right, all in agreement? Number 10,
They do have that to the extent required, because that one's confusing, because they're not allowed to do off-site parking.
Right.
So how can you light it if you're not allowed to do it? So, but I think it's safer to have it in.
Fine.
Agreed.
You don't need to address 131?
or, you know, just, we got an off-site. The fact that the property that's they're getting egress to in the 20 spaces, where there's an agreement with the Affordable Trust, is it actually off-site parking?
It's off their
Yes.
site.
The paper way is in between.
I see, but it's still, they have,
Yeah.
they have control of that property.
Same owner, but
They have control of the property, so I'm just questioning the term off-site when it's property that they're in control of, that's all.
We're not gonna change it all now.
No, if we see a site plan, it doesn't include that.
Amy's saying, shut up, Brian, move on, move on to number 10.
All right, is any of the lighting gonna be on all night?
Sound like me.
The lighting for the parking lot,
Yeah,
Moving along.
I think it needs to be.
and you need a waiver from 325-131.
what's the, can you, I don't know.
Yes.
That says you cannot have lighting between midnight and 6 AM.
Oh, that's a good catch. Do we have to add,
If cars are parked there and someone's going to pick up their
And then have to
car.
get their car.
Yeah.
Unless it's motion, yeah. We can add, to the extent it's gonna be, we can add a waiver for that to 131 is,
If you don't want it, it's okay.
no.
is there a way that, instead of having illuminated all the time, that it can be photo cells or whatever, that
Yeah, we can.
when people, cars are pulling in, the lights turn on,
Sufficient for
when people are
security.
walking up, the lights turn on. Rather than having these lights in that parking area on all the time and disturbing any neighbors that might be within earshot of the light,
But is
light
this
waves.
applying to all the lighting,
No,
not
it's
just
up- the off-site parking. now.
the, on the offsite.
It's
I know, but
outdoor.
I'm saying,
Outdoor lighting.
is that waiver required for, applicable to all outdoor lighting?
Yeah, it
It's
looks
not
like,
Outdoor
just the
lighting shall not be
auxiliary
illuminated.
parking.
Well, lights
Yeah.
here aren't all that.
unless there's a business open with employees, which that wouldn't be the case here.
You leave the lights
So
on.
they need a waiver if they wanna run the lighting after midnight.
Before
Even in the regular house, yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay, so we need to do a waiver after
Wait, I'd like,
midnight.
if I could, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to hear from the applicant here on this one.
Yeah, I was just asking Mark if the lights are on the main property, you know, if they're on all night, and for safety, he said, you know, generally, yes, because, you know, people could be coming and going to work, coming
Shift
back,
work.
and so in the parking lot, you shift work. So to the extent that requires a waiver, not just for the offsite, but for locus,
Yep.
we should add 325, 131 for everything. But the idea, as Carmen says, the idea would be that the offsite would, maybe they could be motion sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be, I just thrown that idea out. I think that would be,
Yeah.
if
Into it.
there was some neighborhood concerns regarding, the lighting and disturbing whatever, even though it's not, the directional is pointed, whatever, away from the sidelines. But if it was motion censored, then it only goes on when cars are pulling in or people are walking up, or walking away, just a thought.
I think we're open to that. We'll explore it. I just don't know technically, the technology, if that's, how that would work. So,
We can certainly extend our meetings to get this squared away, but, no, but I'm only serious.
I'll
I think,
look
I would
into
like you to
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just for being a good neighbor, as well as you may cut down even your lighting expense, to consider motion censored for that auxiliary parking.
We'll look into it.
But I think for the waiver purposes, I think what I'm hearing is 325, 131, a waiver to allow lighting both on and off site to be on between midnight and 6 AM.
Yes.
That's the technical waiver.
Is that added to number 9?
Yes.
Should it be number 9, or should it be a separate one, since it's a separate section of the bylaw?
I would
Nine
say it's,
talks about the
I'd say, it's-
offsite.
no, it's 9.A, 9A, I mean, I would,
Would you?
Okay, all right, either way,
Yeah, I think it should probably be under 8.
Yep.
okay.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Oh, 8
Move
now.
it up.
Okay, move it to 8, okay. 8A. Thank you.
okay, section 325-39A, number of parking spaces, 83 provided, 102 required, 103 combined, on-site, off-site spaces provided where 102 on-site spaces otherwise required. I think we're all good to go?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
That horse is dead.
And appreciate the fact that you folks were working with the Affordable Trust to make that happen. Section 325-42K, parking space length 18 feet provided and 20 feet required. The aisle width of 22 feet provided and 24 feet required.
Fine.
Good to go? And just double check, the auxiliary parking is at the 20-foot level, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Number 12, 325-55, site plan approval. I don't have any additional questions on the site plan. Anybody else?
This is a waiver?
It's a
No,
waiver
it's
from
a
having
waiver from the planning board
planning
having to do it.
Oh,
We are the planning board in this
Right,
case. Okay, so.
Okay.
All right. Sure, if Duncan was dialing in, he'd be all set for that. So. All right, number 13, section 325-97, site coverage 42% proposed, 30%/15% maximum. Any problems?
No.
None, no problems. 14, 325-97, building coverage 16% proposed, 10% maximum.
No problem.
Any problems? 15, 325-97, building height 50-foot max. Various proposed at set forth below. So we look at the building height table, folks. Goes from building 1 down to 15, type A down to type H. And it's ranging from 26 to 35 feet, 0.7 inches.
38.6 on building 14.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
38.6. So we got a range of 26 feet, 6 inches to 38 feet, 0.6 inches, of which those heights and so forth, and I think pass the review from the fire department as well.
I'm fine.
Any questions?
No.
So now, and the only additional, all right, so we get the waiver, which we talked about, which isn't on this, but to regarding, we're all set for 32598, okay, that's all squared away. And 325, 102B1, that's been taken care of, correct?
And 325, 131's been added as well.
Right. 125, 131, right, that's all that.
And the last two waivers that are on there are from the Harwich Health Code and the Cape Cod Commission, which are technical.
Oh, yes,
requests.
thank you.
Where are they? Oh, over there.
B,
Below the table, below the,
Yep.
Harwich Health Code, section 1.211, permit required to allow the construction of a septic system on the property having a design flow greater than 2,000 gallons per day. Any questions?
No.
Good to go?
Okay,
Yes,
when you have a chance, refer back to the previous one,
okay.
just a
I
quick.
do have a question, so on the septic system, we were supposed to get a write-up on that.
So our understanding is that it was sent to the town at some point, but we will double check and make sure that it gets resent.
You
You
have
know,
that?
I do remember receiving it. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
I thought I had sent
It was a couple
it,
of meetings ago where the request was made.
thought I'd sent it to everybody.
You may have, I just don't remember seeing it, you
Let
know?
me look.
As a matter of fact, if you've got it and you can actually print it out now for us, Rachel, and bring it to the table, that'd be great.
I will.
So we just get that wrapped up.
The whole point was to show that, how this is beneficial versus,
Standard
An alternative.
technology, yeah.
building
They
20
definitely
homes or
sent
whatever.
information to that effect around.
I'm sorry, Dave?
They definitely sent information to that effect around, comparing it to the number of residential houses.
It was a, not, but it was supposed to be a narrative, not a, I remember seeing something very short, not anything with any detail.
Rachel's gonna look for it,
Okay.
and then we can print it out
I
tonight.
mean, there's been a lot of concern from people in the public. It'd be nice to, this would be very reassuring to the public if it has what I'm suspecting it has in here.
Okay.
Basically, I think it came down to that, the amount of nitrogen, whatever might be brought into the environment, would be substantially less than if this was a residential neighborhood.
And generally, these things are well-run,
But, yes, so,
whereas the residential, hopefully they pump it.
yeah, no, I just, I don't
And
know.
I know they don't all pump it.
Well, I think the state is also has some pretty, you know, good systems, I mean, checks and balances regarding as well, but we'll see if we can produce that report. Okay, Cape Cod Commission, the Cape Cod Commission Act, Chapter A, Enabling Regulations, Regional Policy Plan, and Technical Bulletins Review of proposals containing 30 or more residential units. As this is a 40B application, the Cape Cod Commission is strictly just a department of the town of Harwich. Okay, so that's, I think, any
Angela, would
Any
you
questions
send it to me?
I have no issue with that one.
So what are we actually waiving then?
we're waiving the fact that the Cape Cod Commission for this size of a development needs to approve the project,
Okay,
which they
You
do
don't
not.
need a DRA.
right.
similar to waiving the site plan review requirement from the planning board, because
Yeah.
you're it.
Okay,
Yeah, you would, with that, yeah.
Can you ask my question?
yes,
So when we're.
go for it, John.
Going back to 13, 14, and 15, when we're waiving 325-97,
I never-
that part of the zoning
Where are we
bylaw,
at, John? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
325 the 13, 14, and 15 on the first one,
Coverages.
that lays out two different zones within there. And I know we referenced sort of the requirements of both zones. Are we waiving the whole thing, or did we ever do a calculation of whether or not this is in Zone A or Zone B?
I don't think they ever did that calculation.
So we're just waiving
I think so.
everything?
Where is
Because
it?
because the roads that are mentioned in Zone A are the roads that you abut, but you can only count up to 400 feet from the road. It has to be then 50% of the total lot has to be within that 400 feet to be the Zone A part. Or I guess the question back to the lawyers is, are we just waiving the whole thing and it doesn't matter? But there is a distinguishment between Zone A and Zone B.
I think that the purpose was to waive the whole thing.
Okay.
I would agree.
And then the only other one, Mr. Chair, is that Rachel pointed out that under number 1, they need to add in 95, so it should say 325, 93, 94, and 95, which prohibits multifamily in the 6 months.
So, another follow-up to that question? Then should we just say we're waiving all of 325-97? Because there's other provisions in there besides like coverage, building coverage, and building.
Well, those are the only ones that they are in excess, right?
Well, except under numbers 2 and 3, we do waive 97 A and B for the setbacks. So we covered those up there for setbacks.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, but there's a C, D, E, and F to that paragraph, or to that section. We're not waiving, that's what we're saying.
Or they haven't requested a waiver from it.
Correct. I think a lot of this was, have to do with like laying out future lots, but it's just, there's other stuff in there is my concern,
no,
is there's not any confusion.
All right, so are you satisfied at this point, and
Yeah, no, the only comment I would
Attorney
make
Singer, you
is that
satisfied, you don't need to add any more waivers?
I'm okay, I have no objection to the waiver, I just think when we're talking.
They don't need E,
Yeah,
they don't need E,
Yep.
they don't need F.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's why those aren't there.
But they also, building coverage, building height, they, for some reason, this one slightly has different terminology, you know, maximum lot coverage, maximum building coverage, was just kind of true, the wording in that section. It's different from the other sections of the zoning. But again, I don't have an objection to it, I just want to make sure we write it the right way.
Thank you.
Okay. Does this include the waiver portion of our program?
I believe so. We'll work with Amy on updating as we discussed tonight.
Excellent. Okay.
Excuse me. Conditions.
Nate, I just wanted to, Nate, just asking you if there's anything regarding the waivers that we haven't covered that you have any more comments on?
Nothing that I haven't already mentioned.
Okay, all right, so just want to make sure there's nothing further that needs to be addressed on
Nope.
waivers. Thank you. All right, now we have a document, June 9th, 2026, working list of conditions as reviewed with town council. So we all set, proceed on that? Everyone got their copy?
Yep.
It's this one over here, Al?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we're good to go. Number 1, condition. Penrose and the Harwich Affordable Trust, Housing Trust establish an agreement for easement in North property for 20 parking spaces at standard size of 20 feet, and there's got to be, that's a length, there's got to be a width involved here. Was
By
it-
9.
Is it 9 feet?
9 by
It's
28.
9 by 20.
Size 9 by, okay. So it should be 9 by 20 feet.
Then they're proposed.
Yep.
Down.
So the first language that you're reading,
Oh,
Mr.
I'm
Chairman,
sorry, thank you.
under it is what we suggested after talking to town council.
Okay. So, actually, thank you, and that will help me. So on condition 1, the applicant suggests revision. Prior to issuance of a first, so the condition is, in red, prior to the issuance of a first occupancy permit, the applicant and Harwich Affordable Trust enter an agreement to secure the right to provide parking-related improvements over Affordable Housing Trust property north of project site, here and after auxiliary parking for 20 parking spaces at standard size of 9 by 20, applicant to construct parking area with permeable materials. Just a thought here, I just wanted to, and it doesn't, I'm good to go with this. Was a discussion in case in the future it had to be moved in your agreement? So you think in the future we're good to go with the site? I mean, at some point, as the Affordable Trust develops a north property, again, I can't offer this condition, I just throw out the idea of the fact that it may need to be moved to someplace different
Correct.
if it somehow interfered with the development of that property, but it still would be the trust providing, you know, the access of 20 spaces.
It'd probably be a minor amendment.
Yeah, they have to
under-
come back for modification, because
Yeah,
their
mod-
plan would change.
Right.
We had just had a simple agreement to, a motion to have an agreement to provide the parking. We did have two options on design,
Okay,
but it was really to enter into an agreement with them.
yeah, we're not specifying where it necessarily has to be, okay? All right, number is, well, tell you what, why don't we just take a moment here, I'll take a little break, we got the report here on the, and it's really just put it aside, no, I don't wanna put it aside at the moment. So we just got the copy of the May 5th letter. And why don't we just take a moment to read it, and then we can ask questions. We all good with that, folks?
Yep.
Okay.
So essentially, the key number on this is the number of pounds per day
Yes.
at the end of each calculation?
For a year.
Oh, per
Yep,
year,
or per year.
yes.
So we're saying it's equivalent to 5 six-bedroom homes.
Less,
Yeah, six-bedroom home.
A little
it's
less.
It's a dormitory.
a little less.
Is that the equivalent of 10 three-bedrooms? I mean, is it all the same? Is 5 six-bedrooms the same as 10 three-bedrooms?
What?
Oh, by the-
What? I don't, you wanna say that again?
Well,
No,
no,
it's
I'm
11
just,
Yeah,
you're
I
not
think
gonna
you're
have
right, Ken.
six-bedroom homes. So if you had three-bedroom homes, instead of being 5, you got a number of bedrooms, right? 30. So if you have 10 homes that have 3 bedrooms, you have the same number of bedrooms, 30. My question is that the same calculation? Is this based on bedrooms?
So the calculation is based on bedrooms, and this is comparing, if it were to be single-family homes, they would not be required to do the nitrogen component. So those single-family homes, just looking at the numbers here, that's at 35. Or the flow is at,
But
And
it's
then-
based on bedroom, I'll just.
Yeah, I think
leave
we-
it
on bedrooms.
Yes,
based
yeah.
on bedrooms.
and this is showing that
Five,
we're
six
about a
bedrooms,
third.
3 bedrooms, Chris.
This
It's
is 30,
bedrooms.
it's 30 bedrooms, right?
That's what I'm trying to get at. Okay, that's all I need.
Well, I mean, I'm fine with the septic system as designed, but this report, to me, it seems to skew things a little bit. The fact that most homes are gonna be 3 bed, at maximum, on average, 3, perhaps 4,
I think
But-
4 is pretty standard.
but, 4? 4-bedroom homes is standard, but this is showing on 6-bedroom homes, which I think would not be the norm.
Yeah, but I think that was Ken's point, is if it was 10 three-bedroom homes, it would still be 30 bedrooms.
Yeah, but Brian's point is the fact that
You
it
gotta
would
fit on
normally
the
be
lot.
20 bedrooms,
Right.
not 30
On
bedrooms.
the lot.
Right, that's all,
So in that case, the comparisons.
the comparison is
Goes the
off
other
by
way
a
around.
third.
You're talking on the size of the lot.
You're not talking about the bedrooms, you're
Yeah.
talking about the number of homes. If this
5,
calculation,
if this.
David, this calculation is based on bedrooms.
I understand that.
Doesn't matter if it's one 30-bedroom house 10 six-bedroom house, whatever they did, 5 six-bedroom
I
houses.
understand that, Ken. What my point is that if it were a typical four-bedroom home times 5 homes, you would have fewer total bedrooms. Therefore, the homes would have lower nitrogen than their unit.
Right, that's when I'm,
Yeah.
Right.
Fewer bedrooms in this, our calculation.
You're saying you can only
So,
build
so
5
the
homes.
total
in this lot.
nitrogen
they build
would go
5
would go
bedrooms,
down.
5 homes at 4 bedrooms each, that's 20 bedrooms, not 30.
2/3 of 351.
Ken, what he's saying is that you could only build 5 buildings on this lot
Oh.
because of the
Besides the lot size,
acre.
Yes.
without
acre
an
zone.
exception.
But given the size of the lots, we believe that you could have a 6-bedroom
Yeah,
house, so
no,
that's why
yeah,
the
I-
calculation's done that, even though they might not be built.
5 of the maximum of most of the biggest homes you could put.
5
Yes.
Yeah,
I think, I just think you, from my point of view, kind of push the numbers.
Well, yes, why not?
Well, no, but I just, it,
Who's
so,
writing their checks? No.
so as a result, I mean, if I'm reading it, what might be typically the number of houses on that lot and number of bedrooms, we're, there's, we're really having proposed nitrogen, it's gonna be a little bit higher than it would have been on a normal residential development for this,
Well,
for this.
Mr. Chairman, one thing to keep in mind as well, with the new Affordable Homes Act, you can do by right ADUs on every lot. So if you had a lot, and you had 5 lots which were each capable of 6 bedrooms, even if the houses might only be 4 bedrooms, every one of them by right can have an ADU. So you have to look, it's not skewing them, you have to look at what could be built. And
I understand.
these days, that's what can be built.
That's a good point.
I think,
I mean,
overall, given the number of bedrooms, there's gonna be 90 that's gonna be in this property, in the number of the affordable, more affordable housing and so forth, there may be a slight increase if it had been strictly residential, but I do believe that slight increase is inconsequential to the availability of more affordable housing. Okay.
Agreed.
well,
Okay.
that's a fact, and also, this is gonna be well-maintained, I mean, you have to. I mean,
Yes.
It's a big unit.
So-
Whereas a lot of these homes, they are not running at full capacity, they're at full capability after a few years. If they don't pump it every couple of years, all of that degrades the performance, so this is best-case example in the case of the houses, and probably your example in the case of your unit, so.
About a third of the people don't stay
So you
in
could
town
fit 3
anyways.
times as many people onto this property, solve the housing problem without generating any more waste.
Right, and with a, I think, a reasonable increase, but from my point of view of nitrogen, I'm okay with it.
Agreed.
Okay, so just, all right. So we, request taken care of, Chris?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Okay, moving along. Back on the conditions list, item 2. Regarding pedestrian access from auxiliary parking to the project site. The reading of the condition, pedestrian access from auxiliary parking to project site be provided with lighted sidewalks. All lighting serving the auxiliary parking and pedestrian access to the project site will be downward facing, dark sky compliant, and shielded as required by the bylaw. Any questions?
No.
Any comments?
No.
Are we all in agreement?
All lighting serving the auxiliary, didn't we suggest that they might wanna look at photosensitive or motion sensitive?
Right, but that's a technology they gotta check out for the auxiliary parking. I
You
mean,
don't wanna include it.
I don't think
Not as a condition.
we need to make it,
Okay.
I don't think we need to make, I mean, I think it's a great idea, but I don't think we need to make a condition on it. What do you,
I wouldn't put it as a condition because they may decide that they need to keep it on 24/7.
yeah, and again, my request is that they take a look at
I mean,
that option.
talking about having it going off, it's motion sensor, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so whatever, someone pulls in 3 in the morning,
it goes on.
goes on. They sit there finishing up a phone conversation for 15 minutes in their car, light goes out.
You got away with hand.
They get,
once they get out of
Those
the
are
car,
making
law of
no, once,
unintended
no,
consequences.
but once they get out of the car and they start walking,
And I'm not
the
making
lights will go
phone
back
calls at 3
on.
in the morning.
So they could sit in
No,
the
I'm not
car.
sitting in the,
No, but seriously, they
If I'm
can
out at
sit in
3
the
o'clock
car
in the morning,
for,
I wanna get home.
or fall asleep for all, whatever. But once they open the car door and they start walking, then the photo should kick in, motion sensor should kick in, and the lights will turn on.
I think it's a good question, and we will talk to our management company also about
Right.
what their opinions are, and,
But just a
think-
thought,
yeah,
to take a look
it's a
at it.
good thing that we will look into, but for the purposes of the condition, I think,
Right.
give us
Whether-
the flexibility to figure out what makes the most sense.
And whether it's motion sensitive or not, they will be downward-facing dark sky compliant, so it's gonna meet the bylaw requirements no matter what it is.
Okay,
And
just
that's
put-
the important thing, I think, from a condition point of view.
Just put it in that same list with the curb cuts, all right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. 3, connector road from Queen Anne Road to C Street should be widened to accommodate marked bike lane.
Just a question on my part, was this changed, the width of that particular road then to accommodate the bike?
No, it wasn't.
It's just the marking.
That's, if you look at the
Just
next,
the marking.
So the thing is, so they're gonna keep the same 18 feet, right, or is it 20?
It's 20.
20 feet.
20,
They keep the same 20-foot width,
22.
but now they're going to put in
I see, okay.
a dual-use bike auto indicators to be painted on the connected drive from Queen Anne Road. And you see that all the time on the roads, but,
Sure,
so,
I just didn't
to
understand.
develop circular drive by buildings 1 and 14 to be shown on final plans.
That's the proposal.
Okay, any questions, concerns? We're all in favor?
It's a compromise, it's better than.
Yeah, no, I think, I'm glad we brought it up, glad we're dealing with it. Okay, on condition of restricting the parking signs with trucks, vans, turning corners. Applicant to provide parking signs limiting parking in spaces located at key turning corners to compact cars only, to be shown on final plans. And again, on your parking and management, when you have tenants that when you're checking tenants' vehicles, I'm assuming any tenant needs to register what vehicle they have and license plate.
They need to register with us.
So anyone that's has a truck over 18 feet or whatever, a van, are you going to be talking to them regarding parking in the auxiliary parking lot, where the parking lot on the site is only designed for 18-footers?
That's the next condition.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You're right, I wasn't jumping ahead. Well, that's on the,
RV motorhome.
that had to deal with motorhomes.
But this parking is going to be managed
Yeah, you're right.
on-site by
Parking-
property management as needed.
Yes, right. Applicant suggests a condition. On item 5 regarding motorhomes and trailers or boat parking, parking is to be limited to vehicles fitting conforming 9 by 20 spaces on the project site or auxiliary parking. Parking to be managed by on-site property manager as needed. Boat parking is expressly prohibited in both the project site and auxiliary parking. I'd like to change that to boat and trailer parking.
Before you do that, how can you do that when we know that all the contractors that show up on site for landscaping are gonna have trailers?
Well, they're not parking there overnight. That's just so,
This doesn't say all night, you just talk about prohibiting trailer parking.
yeah, this is good, I mean, all right, you're making a,
I don't think we can prohibit trailer parking. I don't know where they're gonna park, that was the whole discussion we've already had, beat to death, but they will be bringing trailers on site.
well, when we say boat parking and overnight parking of trailers is expressly,
Well, I think, Mr. Mayor, I think it's covered. If you look back to the beginning, the parking is to be limited to vehicles fitting conforming conforming to the parking spaces that are there. And so a landscaper might come, show up, do their thing and be gone. But if I have a pickup truck with a trailer on it, I'm not gonna fit in a parking space.
right,
So I'm already covered by the condition.
okay. You know, I think my change in this thing is just basically being micromanaging, so we'll move on. Anybody have any questions on this?
So that means
So
4 and
what's
5 are moving through?
Yeah, so
What is the final thing that we're saying we're commenting on restricting that?
Just boat parking.
As we
Just
prefer as
boat
we
parking.
propose, just
Boat
boat
parking
parking is
expressly
prohibited.
I think, I'm certainly fine with that.
Okay, so we're good with, we already just said we're good with 4, now we're good with 5, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, and regarding the applicant's comment about they'll manage the situation, I'm fine with that. Number 6, dumpster and recycle area to be enclosed with fencing and gate. No staging of non-enclosed recycle bins. So applicants, how we're gonna, conditions gonna be read, add outside fence dumpster area at end of condition. Dumpster and recycling area to be enclosed with fencing and a gate. No staging of non-enclosed recycling bins outside fence dumpster area to be allowed. No, I'm a little confused here.
I'm confused too, because I would think that they would want enclosed recycling bins.
They are.
Well, no, that's,
It's not what it- how I
they're gonna
read
be
it.
within, they're gonna be within the fenced area.
But they might not have lids.
No staging of non-enclosed recycling bins outside of fenced dumpster area to be allowed.
They're gonna put them all inside the fence.
Correct.
Right, so
So it sounds
Do
like
you
they
even
have,
need that sentence?
it
If you
sounds
just
like
say
they have
dumpster and
small
recycling area to
recycling
be
bins, but they're
enclosed
all
with
inside,
fencing,
not a
well,
huge
that's
one.
about the bins.
Yeah. I think there was some concern over, we wanted to make sure that the language wasn't gonna prevent recycling bins.
Right.
You know, and so we wanted to make sure, I
As long
think.
as they're
I-
inside the fence.
I brought it up
They're
because
inside the fence.
in visiting more than one of the sites, recycling bins were in the exterior of the dumpster, not within the fencing.
So let me ask you this question, Mark, what does the board mean by because this was language that was here before, what's the word staging mean? That might have been what was leading to the confusion. If we just said, if you took that word out and just said, yes, a dumpster and recycling area to be enclosed with fencing and a gate, no non-enclosed recycling, or just say, no non-enclosed recycling bins outside a fenced dumpster area shall be allowed.
Now,
why
fine.
do
Get
you
rid
need
of the-
that? Why wouldn't it just be dumpster and recycle area to be enclosed with
I know,
fencing and
period.
gate,
Period.
period?
Period.
Let's get rid
Okay,
of the rest of it.
yeah, I think that can work as
I
well.
think that's what I just said.
I think it was the word staging that was causing some confusion.
Okay, that's good. Anybody else, Amy, all set?
So would that just be the first sentence of that?
Yep.
Okay,
Norman?
okay. Dumpster and recycling area to be enclosed- yeah, okay.
By the way, Rachel, if you have any suggestions on any of this thing, please,
I'll let you know.
please speak up, okay? Okay, next condition regarding handicap parking. Applicants provide 2 additional handicap parking spaces accessible to the clubhouse and mail facility. Total accessible spaces on project site 6 to be shown on the final plans. Perfect. Okay. All set?
aren't they already shown on the file?
I think they are.
Okay, well,
Okay.
not sure why we have a condition then,
Let's make sure they stay on the plans that gets
but,
submitted.
okay?
I think we originally wrote the condition before we saw, they updated the plans, that's why that
They're
happened.
not, they're not construction drawings still, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
fine.
number 7, use of low nitrogen, slow release, low phosphate fertilizer for initial plantings of plants, seedings, and turf including replacement as required.
My only objection to that sentence is it really doesn't have a verb. What are we saying? It's allowed, only allowed for those things? Or,
The use of low nitrogen, slow release, blah, 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 plant seeding and turf replacement as required. You're right, it
Oh.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's not a sentence.
Let's see, we are just limiting it
limiting
to,
it to that, right, was the intent,
to,
right?
Fertilizer is limited to the use of low nitrogen, and and then we get rid of as required at the end.
Well,
Why
the
don't
as
you speak
required
to
for
what
the
we're trying to-
replacements.
Do we
Oh,
want
that's
them to
right,
not
okay.
use- I thought we were only wanting to really use it for these purposes, right?
Thank you.
Okay, so,
Can only be used for initial planting.
this is what we had in Pine Oaks, which is the use of fertilizers after initial plantings shall be limited to the use of natural, low nitrogen or slow-release organic fertilizer, as that term is defined by 330 CMR 31, and the use of such fertilizer shall comply with all other requirements of 331 CMR 31, including but not limited to, and then there's three things.
Yeah,
I
makes
think we were
sense.
trying to
Well, that's a lot longer.
make
That's
I
simple.
think we were trying to make it
What are
shorter,
you
but
saying, are you fine with that?
they have to comply with 330 CMR anyway.
Okay.
We'll go with that
Yeah,
one.
and that talked about, just to clarify,
The
that we're
use-
talking about not the initial plan, it's after,
After the initial.
The use of fertilizer after initial plantings
Okay.
shall be limited.
so that's fine.
Okay, so I'm gonna put that one as the new
Place.
one.
Yep.
That's gonna be, okay.
And we have two number 7s, but.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I did that on the last one too, remember? Jeez.
Lucky number 7.
Okay,
Okay.
number 8.
This is one where we do have some suggested language.
Which is selective herbicide.
Not Roundup.
Yeah, it only kills certain things. Only kills certain things.
Right. Not Roundup.
Okay. Okay, so a selective herbicide only kills like certain types of weeds and so forth.
Sure.
Whereas a full herbicide such as, can't think of the name of it all of a sudden,
Roundup,
Roundup, just kills everything in sight. Grass, you know, it doesn't,
not poison ivy.
it's not targeted. So it's, other ones that can be selective. So applicant, the condition is gonna be, regarding herbicides, limit post-construction use of herbicides to selective herbicides only. Allow for targeted use of non-selective herbicides by a licensed applicator during construction to manage and eliminate invasive plant species.
Fine.
You guys go- That's your suggestion?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
We good to go?
As long as you can
Yeah, I
look
mean,
at
I
it.
had brought up.
John, you brought this
Yeah,
in.
there are invasive species there.
Yeah, we saw them.
That's,
And they're nasty, they're spreading all over our town, so, want to get rid of them. And they can't be killed with selective, the ones that are on your property.
Probably can't. I think they have to be dug up and,
Dug up, or the FDA recommends Roundup. It's the only plant that
Yeah.
is recommended as a solution. Asian knotweed.
okay. 9, no use of rodenticides.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
No set?
yep. 9, 10, and 11 were fine.
10 was-
What does 10 mean?
Initiative to use Cape Cod native plants and low water turf. Basically, they're plants that are considered native to Cape Cod.
No, I get that, but it's
The word
kind of John's
initiative, yeah.
point before, this doesn't actually say what they're doing. Are they limiting themselves to use these things?
Wouldn't be more like, the project
initiative-
will only use Cape Cod
The word
native.
initiative leaves, it's very nebulous.
Yeah, that's true. All of a sudden, we go up there, we want to say, hey, you know, these red roses aren't Cape Cod. I mean, I think,
The planting plan, according to Mark, proposes natives.
It
Okay.
is, yeah, I think that's what you proposed.
So
yeah.
we'll only use Cape Cod native plants and low water turf. Wouldn't that be better?
Or required use,
Or required to use,
Or use only.
Required to use.
okay?
Yep.
required use.
required to use Cape Cod native plants and low water turf.
Okay, thank you.
I think 11 needs to be clarified that this is plant sprinkler systems, not fire suppression sprinkler systems.
Oh, yes.
We should probably put the word in lawn.
Landscaping.
Irrigation,
Irrigation,
yeah.
irrigation systems.
Just-
That's a better word.
I mean, yeah, that's-
So are we saying that they cannot do irrigation other than the planting periods?
That was what they proposed, right? I
That
thought.
you proposed?
I think we're okay
Okay.
with that.
Yeah, primarily during the planting periods. It'd be reduced to try to help it
Yeah,
set.
the idea here is that they're not set to go off every Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday at
Well, and
It's-
once
it's
the
6 a.m.
plants, that was the whole idea, of
days a
native
week,
plants and
Brian,
low-water
2 days a
turf was
week.
once it's
right,
established.
Sundays and Wednesdays.
The town days.
I don't know,
Saturdays and Tuesdays.
How are we gonna word 11?
Are you an even-numbered street
Required to
address or
use
an
Cape
odd-numbered
Cod
street?
native plants and low water turf.
How about number 12?
It would be the applicant shall reduce the use of the irrigation sprinkler systems and schedule only primarily during planting periods.
How about instead of reduce, how about we just say selective use of irrigation sprinkler systems?
What did you just say, though? What did you just say, Amy? I'm sorry.
I said exactly what Brian had written originally, which was reduce the use, or I guess I did add some words, reduce the use of irrigation sprinkler systems and schedule primarily only during planting periods.
Yeah, fine.
Okay,
Now we're changing it to selective use,
I just threw that out, is it? But that might
selective
be-
use of irrigation sprinkler systems and schedule
To be scheduled
to be
primarily during
scheduled.
planting.
Okay.
All right,
I think 13 we don't need, now, as we discussed that.
Which 13 are we on? The
The
earth-
new
we're on,
13. New
we're on
13.
12, actually.
12 on the sheet,
12, new 13.
Okay,
the earthwork.
Have to do 7A and 7B.
I changed the numbers.
Be a condition someplace.
Is this the summary that we looked at before with the cut and fill?
Yes.
All right, are we,
we gave
how are
you-
we wording the earthwork thing?
I thought we didn't need it because they already gave it
So
to
we're gonna
us.
eliminate that, right?
Oh,
All right, so now we're back on track. We're actually gonna, this next one is, we're actually on 13.
Oh, weren't they gonna certify the fill they bring in?
That's already in.
Where?
It's in the,
That's already on,
Oh,
that's
wait.
already in a condition.
Through that one.
We already did it.
Well, I know we talked about, but I'm just looking at, these are conditions, these are additional conditions?
So Ken, I don't know if you remember for Pine Oaks, we had about 130 conditions.
Right.
These were only conditions that Brian had recommended. So we're still gonna have
Oh, so
130.
we're only doing, got it,
We're still gonna have 130 conditions. I'm
Understood.
not, estimated.
understood.
You got a little upset.
You saw my head pop up.
I know. It's-
Fine.
Can't remember how many.
There
we
are
had.
standard conditions all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Many
and
pages
that
of them.
would be one of them.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
actually, I wasn't that far off. On Pine Oaks, we had 123. So,
I'm sure if you work at it,
I can come
Yeah,
up
a
with
couple
7
more.
more. I can figure it out. Okay.
some would have.
All right, 13, EV-ready spaces per VHB demonstrate, okay, so the applicant to provide the required number of accessible EV charging, EV-ready spaces on the final plans. Now, is it my understanding that you actually aren't gonna build the EVs, wire it, but actually not install it until there's a need for, a car shows up that needs one?
Yeah, they're gonna be EV ready from the onset. Oh, you want?
Yeah, there's a requirement for
at the mic.
EV. There's a requirement for EV spaces and then a requirement for EV ready. So there will be 10% EV spaces on site, and then that other 10% will be wired to be EV ready for the future if needed.
So the wire will just be terminated underground until you need a post?
Yeah, it'll be stubbed out.
Right, okay, that's what I thought.
So we would say the applicant to provide the required amount of EV and EV-ready spaces on the final plan to demonstrate compliance with 521 CMR. And I think we should just say the applicant should provide the required amount of EV and EV-ready spaces on the final plan to the building department's satisfaction, because 521 and 780 CMR, those are all state regulations. That we can't really, that's not up to us.
Can't waive those or
Yeah,
condition those.
So they have to do it. How about to demonstrate compliance with state regulations?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Okay, 14. Are we all in agreement, folks?
Yep.
14. Conceptual utility plan on how Penrose development would connect to future, okay, let's go.
We have language on the page.
Okay. All right, the applicant has met with and provided a conceptual utility plan of town consultant and intends to connect to the sewer when it becomes available. The applicant does not believe that this is a needed condition as a consultation has already taken place. I'm fine with that, not doing a condition.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So take 14 out.
We'll take 14 out.
Now we've messed up the numbers again.
Wait, which one is 14 again, the utility
That's-
plan?
Conceptual utility.
Okay.
Conceptual utility.
The sewer plan.
Editing these
They,
on the fly.
yeah, if I recall, you
I
met with a
think
consultant.
Thank God, I can't remember anything.
I mean, and I had brought this up, I think in one of the early meetings, my only concern, and I don't even know how to write this in a condition, is I think it's smart to do all this coordination. And I think it's a good business decision and it's good for town to be. My only concern, and I don't know if this could be a condition, is just that in the future, whenever this happens, Penrose doesn't get treated any differently than any other person that lives on that street in regards to connecting to the sewer. You know, and there won't be a future waiver for the requirement to connect or anything like that.
Yeah, but from a current day perspective, we don't need to require them to do something undefined
Yeah,
25 years.
well, again, exactly, but I think it's just a matter of saying,
Just have
we,
to leave it blank.
yeah, but, I think for the public to just understand that they're gonna be treated like everybody else.
Yes.
All right, one of the,
Again, you know, if they don't do these things the smart way, they'll have to dig up their whole property.
Exactly.
But that's not our concern.
That's their risk.
I think it's smart to plan ahead, but for me, the biggest concern is just that, you know, being granted all these other waivers,
So
we're not
giving them
granting a
waiver.
waiver for,
Probably use
you
these
know,
systems.
the sewer.
What we don't know now is
I'm trying now.
what sewer technology is gonna be like in 25
Exactly.
years, because
How-
it's gonna
how
be
deep
very
it's gonna be,
different.
what road the main is on. I mean, I realize there's a lot of unknowns, but again, from my perspective, it's just a matter of, you know, this is gonna be an issue for everybody in town. It's gonna have to connect, gonna have to follow the rules. And I think, you know, my view is just Penrose has to be like everybody else in town, whatever that means.
We haven't asked for any waivers on that.
All right, the only aspect of this, which when I originally proposed the idea that you look at where you're gonna put the sewer 25 years from now, was also the discussion regarding providing, and the term isn't correct when I say easement, because the Affordable Trust owns the property, but allowing, if the north property needs to connect with sewer, and it's not gonna be available on Bassett Lane or on 124, that there'd be a way of the sewer running down, you know, one of the sidelines of your property, of the rented property by Penrose, to provide access to put in sewer piping for the north sewers.
Well, that again is,
That's what I
back to the
brought up
point,
before.
it presupposes where the sewer's coming from 25 years
I
from now.
realize that, but what I guess what I don't wanna, and I'm gonna take a break now for a few minutes, because I wanna end in this thing, I wanna just bring this up, that one concern I have is protecting the future of that upper north lot, and having them be able to have access to bring sewer lines to that development up there, if the only access is on Queen Anne Road, that, and I believe the consultant, when you had discussions on the road coming up on Building 14 up to whatever, that side yard there might be the area where the piping could be brought in. Of course, because we don't know where it's gonna be hooked up on Queen Anne, and what the levels are gonna be, and all that type of, for grading, but I think that was one reason for getting the consultant involved, was to look at how we address the needs of the upper site for sewer 25 years from now.
Who owns this property?
Affordable Trust.
The Affordable
They
Housing
own the
Trust,
other ones.
they own all of
They give themselves
it.
an easement, right?
It could,
Guys
they're
are there?
leasing the property.
No, they
They were
Yeah, I
probably
don't-
used to
themselves.
99 years. The concern, we appreciate what you're,
I appreciate his point, absolutely.
appreciate his point, but it's hard for us to agree to a condition about a private contract with somebody else 25 years from now.
But do they even need it if they own both properties?
I don't think this is applicable to their application,
All
Brian.
right, actually, we get an update here from the floor. I mean, so we have a plan here
That
for
shows-
Bowler, which is addition, it actually shows the,
We all have this, by the way, it was in your package.
Shows potential future connections if they're required.
Correct.
Right.
all right, so it's in there.
Yeah.
But that's
Right,
for
I understand.
information, it's in for informational purposes.
So we don't need 14, I don't think.
Well, that's just for informational purpose, that's not illegal.
Doesn't matter, I don't think we can take, so it's something here, you need to do this for
That's
what's
not
gonna
on the,
happen in
what-
2048.
Require them to do it.
okay. Brendan,
So real quickly, if this is a want of the trust and it was to, if we were forced or maybe get to an agreement, we have to spend some dollars of the trust, we would be restricted on that. We wouldn't be able to participate in the capital expense, especially if we don't know what it's going to, if it's not really designated for affordable housing. Something we recently went through with the junior theater, well, capital expenses there and holding on to that property. And we had council weigh in on that if it's not directly for affordable housing, you probably wouldn't be able to participate. So there could be some restrictions. So they would, if you're looking for the trust to pay for it, we probably wouldn't be able to.
no,
Sorry-
the town
sorry,
would
kinda-
probably be paying for it, I just
Yeah.
needed to make sure we could march our pipes down through the property and connect to
Correct.
Queen Anne Road.
I just view it, Brian, as it's a good idea conceptually. I think they took it to a reasonable level from an engineering perspective. And I don't think
Okay,
that anything else will be required 25 years in advance.
fine, I just
It's a
wanted,
risk on their end, and the Affordable Housing Trust land to the north. There's definitely is a risk there, but there's nothing we can require these guys to do for that future risk. That's my 2 cents.
put on that same list with the curb cut and the other.
Exactly.
So I would like to take a 5-minute break if we could, okay? So it's 8:03, we'll come back in at around 8:08, 8:10.
Just got approved for another $70,000 loan, third one today.
You?
I just want to confirm, this is what we're just talking about.
Okay.
Oh, just spam mail?
To the business now.
Oh, I don't get those, so I get
I have the
lots of
right
other
now.
variations.
I get, you know,
Right, I think, okay, yeah.
it's like a different amount, you have 60,000, 30,000,
I have
70,000.
agreement
Yeah.
taken out, and then the one above it
Yeah,
taken out.
okay,
This
good. Thank you. Yeah,
account
that's
is
what I thought.
overdue, you
Oh,
owe
yeah.
the parking ticket, or you're about to get closed out.
Or, you know, you need to resolve your IRS issue. No, I don't need to. I got sucked in last year. I was out by my pool, and it was like a Massachusetts number. And I'm like, all right, it might be someone looking for a reservation, and it was, and these things piss me off, so I just
Happens
wasted
after you called or whatever.
Well, no, I picked it up, and the guy starts, and I knew the second he started talking, I'm like, son of a
Oh, it was just a phone call.
So instead of hanging up on him, I was like, I'm gonna screw with this guy for a while. So he says, you know, I'm looking at your file. I'm like, what file? How did you get my file? Well, you know, I'm looking at the file. You know, well, that's not what, I'm like, who gave you my file? I'm like, I never authorized anybody to give me my file. I'm like, you know, and he starts, well, sir, you know, no, this is an opportunity. Well, who told you I wanted an opportunity? I'm like, I wanna know. And then he finally realized I was screwing with him, and I'm yelling at him like, get real. Instead of making these phone calls to people and wasting their time to go out, get a real.
Do my job. That's how I was handling that.
It's 3 days for Bluebird, and we caught some,
I see how even legitimate companies, I was having this discussion.
probably 300 ones there.
No, and I don't necessarily, but I pick and choose my battles. And
Oh, like I said, I've just been traveling so much. I've been putting on 4,300 miles in the last 12 days.
You drove straight through to Wisconsin?
And straight to Canada. 18 and a half to Wisconsin, got there at 9 o'clock. 5 o'clock in the morning, I drove 14 hours to Canada. And then the plane. 5 days. And then I drove 1,400 miles back to Wisconsin.
Because you had too much shit, you couldn't.
Right, there's no way in hell. Because my nephew who was joining us from Dallas, he's not a fisherman. He had no sleeping bag, no fishing poles, no tackle. And candidly, I had things that my son had left here when he moved back to Wisconsin, including 2 guns, that I had to get back to him. There was just no flying. Now, there was probably no reason to drive straight through either.
There's already also.
I'm not tired. I said, I promised my wife I'll stop until I get tired. And I didn't get tired enough to stop.
What time did you cross the road?
5 o'clock in the morning.
So that, so traffic will be able to do
I
that.
got my sandals.
Now, in the future, the all
I don't feel like tying my shoes right now.
Place.
I've done that.
Driving out there,
I used to do that all the time.
I
I've
didn't,
got 20 hours.
I didn't even yawn, not even once, until I was about 45 minutes from Madison. And then I got tired. I don't know if I got my guard down, because I'm almost there, then I started yawning. Now, on the way back,
that happens,
I
and
took the northern, I took 80 on the way out.
possibly
There was so
avoid
much road
being able
construction coming the other direction, I didn't want to take it back. So I took 90 on the way back, took the northern route through New York, northern Massachusetts.
That's the deal.
And the last 40 miles of that was total road construction. I mean, it was like 1 lane each way,
And that's what's,
but there was no traffic
the
because
police
it was
department has
10 o'clock
approved.
at night. So that was, I could have stopped, spent the night in the hotel. It would have taken me 7 more hours to get home instead of 3.
It
Then I could
seemed,
just kept going.
seemed
But I did
reasonable.
take 2 30-minute naps on the way back. I just couldn't keep my eyes open. So I had to just pull over, nap for 30 minutes.
The Council on
gas,
Traffic
grab some
Studies,
like
which is
this,
reviewed by the
put it back on
peer
the road.
who's verified that they're.
Then I got home
We
and I
took a nap on the way home.
I understand, I understand.
truck stop.
What I need to do is, I
And
just
then
need some
when I got
information.
home,
I
I
can't
played
get
27, I got home
the
7 p.m.
public comment period.
And I played
And I can
27 holes
discuss
of golf
it.
the
I'm
next
just
day
giving you the
at
facts.
3 9
I
matches
can't
at
discuss it
Bayberry.
right now.
I played 18 more holes of golf
If you don't mind, I mean,
River on Sunday,
that point,
and I
you-
played 18 more holes of golf.
You
and
you
Hyannis
drove,
Ford.
you rode.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah, but I still played golf, right, so we rode.
but I
Stop
understand.
all the golf I played ever I got back from games.
How many holes a day?
27, 18, 18, my first 3 days back. I had the member guest in Bayberry that I had committed to before this whole
This
trip
was-
came together.
Oh, really? Who's the member there?
Steve, I used to be a member, I was there for 2 years myself.
Oh, that's
so
right.
so I know a lot of the guys over there,
Yeah,
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I don't know, I'm sure, I haven't even tried to put more than 18.
It was 3 9-hole matches, and of course, match plays a little slower than normal, right? So it's at least a 2.5 hour round.
You had 3 individual 9-hole matches?
We had 2-man net, 1 best ball. And,
Hopefully you took care of them in 6 holes.
no,
maybe 5.
in 2 things, the most you can get is 7 points, even though it's 1 point per hole. You can't get more than 7, but you have to play the last 2 just to make sure that, for example, your opponents don't get anything. It can be 7-0, or it can be 7-1, but it can't be. It could be 7-2, but it.
So it's not just winning a match and
Correct. It's all about points.
So you can't just end, you have to keep playing.
You gotta keep winning. And we never got more than 4.5 points. We finished in the middle of the pack. So most of our matches were 4 or 4.5 points. So we didn't kick anybody's butt.
This is
but
best ball?
Nobody kicked our, net best ball.
Rachel, do you want
But I was the 8th player in our flight.
We're already.
1 round, I got 2 shots. Other than that 27 holes or 18 holes, I only got 2 strokes that entire
Oh my
time.
God.
Because these guys were playing too good. No.
He is.
But they were playing from the green tees.
I know,
Guys
he's
that were
almost
hitting the
11
ball
months
almost as
now.
far as I was, because age
And
plus
he's not gonna
handicap.
be a baby
They had
for
the
much
option to
longer.
would be our silver
I
tees.
know.
They played the green tees.
And he's sleeping.
And my age plus handicap did not make me eligible to move that far up, so I played the late.
Oh, so some nights
So
you
you're
can't
joking,
have
that's
a
why,
sleep.
even though I was a better player.
Isn't that gross? I know.
I just got used to it, it doesn't bother
I
me.
know. Well,
Like,
we've always had St. Bernards, and so at one point my husband was like, I don't know who's drooling more, the dog or the baby. Yeah.
We talk about age.
And how's Brendan? Do you like working with him?
I do like working with
He's my
him.
favorite.
He's really good.
And he knows, so him and the
building commissioner in Provincetown, and they're like the two people I asked them questions.
There's 2 or 3 holes there, I mean,
Yeah, I
number
really like working with him, and it's
yeah.
nice for
there's
feedback
11
back
and number 18.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nice to have someone who's like familiar
Yeah.
with Harwich.
Yeah, true.
Think about 12.
So that's.
12 as well. Yeah. You're down by the water. Well, I couldn't get drivers from that spot. But
She went out.
It was a little weird there.
well, 18 is huge.
I mean, poor Jay was like, yeah, she gives 2
And I
weeks, but
played
now
that
she won't sign
last
anything.
week,
Yeah.
last Monday. Everyone else,
You've been to some of these meetings, all of them.
Yeah.
I've been to all
I
of these.
did,
Oh, you have,
Yeah.
okay.
on 11 and 18, just said,
Yeah.
I don't know Ryan, I don't think I've worked with him.
Oh, you haven't?
I don't think so. I just heard the name, I knew Marion was.
Yeah, yeah. Ryan usually runs the show. I just kind of like Rio. I just sit in the background most of the time.
Yeah, but no, Brenda.
Yeah, you haven't been coming in to chat and everything.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean,
Thanks.
those kind of always conflict with something.
Oh, okay.
So I like her too.
Well, they are in the afternoon, but yeah.
11's a big help, but I couldn't get, I can't get drivers. If I moved to Silver,
Should be at the next one.
Oh, Jack is like half dead.
Yeah, okay, from July 8th.
Yeah.
They have
July
to-
16th.
July 16th, right. I got frozen for that, and I realized,
Do they have to close it to July 16th?
you can get to the bottom of the hill.
Jack's like, yeah, I'm just gonna do it.
this point, I'm not blaming it.
Neighbors are like screaming.
You know, and I sent something out, I made a mistake in it. Not my result, but I still almost the
He's got a
land.
great, they both.
I was rushing, so I said,
It'll work out.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
it's an advantage, because again, then you're,
They're
20 yards.
ground leasing it too.
Us, yeah.
Don Williams is always.
But either way,
It's the trust though.
So that's, in fact,
trust owns it, right? Right, the trust, yeah, the trust.
I used to have to play golf.
and that's what you never.
And then they end up with somebody that, he's young.
Anyway, I got confused because I was doing both of these in one day, which is what Marion did for me last month.
Work on the job, yeah.
Love his long swing.
Okay, we're back. What's next?
School bus.
All right, so we are,
We still on 15?
The wheels on the
so
bus.
we're eliminating 15, correct?
The old 15, yep.
Well, wait a minute. Okay, I don't know what's old, what's new.
15,
Just
still
call it school
15.
bus. We're on school bus.
We're on school bus.
Yeah, okay, so that's out. So 15's out. We don't need that. Okay, regarding the school bus stop, the applicant shall work with the Harwich School District to identify a safe location for the school bus stop and that ensure that the planned stop location has adequate sight lines. Proposed location and any accommodations shall be approved and reviewed by the school district and the applicable public safety personnel.
No problem.
All set, guys?
Yeah.
Good to go. I think I'm reading, next one, 17, one additional test pit at each infiltration area.
Is
They already-
required. It's-
Is
again, it's not-
required.
It's not a sentence.
Right.
They already agreed to do it, right?
Have they done it
Yes,
already?
we haven't done it yet, but we
No,
agreed to do
Agreed
it.
to do it.
Okay, is required, okay? So that's a condition. The NOI and SWPPP, I just remember what all those Ps were
SWIP.
before.
Stormwater.
The SWIP,
Stormwater
pollution prevention
prevention,
plan,
okay, thank you.
I think.
Required prior to construction.
Right?
Yes,
Oh,
that's standard for
But
us.
I will turn these into proper sentences.
Okay.
This was just
Okay.
Brian's notes.
Yep. Okay, 19.
For parking spaces.
We think this is duplicative of 7.
So we've already done that, so we eliminate 19.
I believe so.
20,
Stabilization.
temporary stabilization, construction, entrance maintenance, and corrective action as necessary to prevent sediment tracking or washout onto Queen Anne Road, adjacent properties or drainage infrastructure to be incorporated into the final SWPPP and construction phase erosion control notes.
Isn't that covered by 18?
I don't
I mean,
recall doing that one, but it's okay.
that is what the SWIP does, right, is,
Yeah.
So we don't need 20, do we?
I'd say no.
I thought it would be incorporated in the other requirements, as John said.
Since it's in red, I thought the applicant is presenting it, so
Right.
perhaps the
Well, I
applicant
think-
can decide.
What
mean,
was
those-
your goal here, folks? Attorney Singer?
Goodwill.
Maybe this was a revision of 18 that somehow didn't, got reorganized.
because all of those,
That would make sense.
all those items are things that are
We already covered
in a
it.
SWIP.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get rid of 20.
Okay, that's fine.
We get rid of 20, get rid of
We'll just
19.
leave, provide
Yeah,
the NOI,
so-
the SWIP prior to
In
construction.
summary, looking at this,
I do have a question, so.
And there is one more,
we talked
Brian.
early on, and I don't see anything about access to 124, which we had talked about many times as a condition.
it's, we can't, we're not, no,
It's not part of the project.
we just not, we can't condition that.
Why not?
How would they do
It's a
that?
future, it's a future use, we don't know what the availability is.
Weren't they supposed to work with get an easement?
That they're not, that's a town responsibility.
That's right.
But we can't condition the town, and we can't condition Penrose to
Telling
do
me that
something.
we can't, have you,
I think what you're asking here is that if an egress is available, are they gonna have access to it? So that's a, first of all, if the egress, all right, so, wait, last Friday, the town was supposed to meet with DOT and VHB regarding the egress from either Bassett Lane onto 124, or the alternative, the existing curb cut that's at the north part of the property, at the top corner, where we all parked when we went into for a site visit. That meeting was canceled, and it's been rescheduled, I believe, at some point next week. All right? So, if the town gets approved to have a curb cut on Bassett's Lane that, to 124, then as Bassett's Lane is a public road, all the residents of Penrose will be able to jump on Bassett's Lane and go out on 124, so it's nothing we have to condition. It's an automatic, it's a public road.
somebody has to do it.
No, the town, but that's the town's responsibility to establish a curb cut onto Bassett's Lane or the north part of the property, if the state will allow it. It's up to the state. We can't, the
I
state,
guess the thing is, I consider this a safety issue.
I understand what you're saying.
And that's one of the things that we have as a major reason to deny this, is a safety issue.
Well, it has to be a local concern that
Yes.
equals, but the local concern means that you are going to require everybody to do this. It's a requirement, it's actually a bylaw or a regulation. There is no bylaw or regulation that requires where subdivisions or developments access and don't access.
So if this was on a blind corner and they were bringing something out and the sight line wasn't adequate, that we couldn't stop them from building on that blind corner?
We could, but we couldn't require them to find and go through another property or force the town to change the road.
You can say no to the whole plan,
Well, yeah, that's the
but we
ultimate.
can't
That's-
require them to make a curb cut onto
I'm
something
not
they
saying
have
that.
no
I'm not
control
saying
over.
that, Dave.
You're
So
talking to having a
I
second
am talking
entrance.
about the entire plan, and is there an alternative, because right now, it's already a disaster at Queen Anne and 124. And this obviously, I mean, I was there twice this week where the traffic was back, just this week. The traffic's already backed up past where you're gonna have your entrance. It's already there. So those people can't get out. It was twice this week, and I don't drive that road 20
Well,
times a
we
day. I
talked
drive
about
it
adding
twice a day.
signage so that you don't block their driveway.
Who reads signage?
Right, that works, which works all the time.
Blocking out the
I
road.
mean, this is just the fact of life. I mean, they will
understand
have to
that. Well aware of
negotiate
that.
their way out of that driveway.
But they don't have access
And it's a
to
safety issue, Dave,
124.
yeah.
But they don't have access to 124.
They don't.
Can we make it a requirement from the Affordable Housing Trust that we make that a requirement? somehow as part of this?
No.
Again,
You're saying we can't do anything about this?
That's right.
You can have
I'm
their,
not talking to Amy. It's a
you can
legal
have their
question.
traffic, you can have their traffic report peer reviewed, which you did. And your peer review has said it was okay with certain conditions that your peer reviewer has recommended. But you cannot make them acquire land that they aren't presenting. And the Affordable Housing Trust is not the applicant. So that would be like if they were going to lease this property from a private landowner, you couldn't require the private landowner to give them access to 124. Just because the Affordable
Okay, no, I
Housing.
understand that. So the only option would be to say that this is an unsafe condition.
Yes,
Okay. All right, that's good.
yep.
so anyways, to my point, should the curb cut be made available on the public road, if it becomes one, if it's verified on Bassett's Lane, and the town builds that egress, and the curb cut, which would be allowed by DOT, then I think people would naturally take that curb cut, take that route to get to Route 6 a lot easier than trying to navigate Queen Anne Road.
I bet they would.
Right, so it's gonna be on, that'd be an access from Bassett's Lane.
I guess the reason I brought it up is we had a lot of discussion early on,
Oh, yeah,
and then all of a sudden it didn't show up. And I'd like to know when that happened, and if it didn't show up, because that was something I think was important to several people, and definitely me. So, but if it's something that we can't do because of the fact that the property doesn't access that point,
I remember
and Bassett Lane does not currently have issues, we just can't do it. I
So
get
the
that.
information that we don't have is, we still don't know who owns Bassett Lane. And that, the Affordable Housing Trust was supposed to be looking into that. And I don't
Correct.
think we've ever received a response on that. I don't know
Why
if
not?
they've gotten back their title yet.
But we also did hear from somebody who talked about the state, who said that they may never give approval for a cut on 124.
Correct.
And we heard that early on, that this was not something that may ever happen.
That was a concern, correct?
Brendan, would you identify
And
yourself?
that's the reason the
Point of line
condition
from the
would have been,
But you can't give them a
Blah, blah,
condition
blah.
on something that they have no control over.
right,
Brendan Lowney from the Affordable Housing Trust. From my understanding, we do not own Bassett Lane.
I thought that what you guys, and I think Marion thought the same thing, because we did discuss it at our meeting. We thought that there was going to be a determination as to whether Bassett's Lane was owned by the town, or if it was public or not.
I don't remember that
Okay.
conversation
Okay.
in our discussions, so that was
Yeah.
never in our.
So, I mean, the only reason that information would be helpful is we would know if the town even owns it.
Well, the current plot plans that I've seen, and I think the acreage for the Affordable Trust North property does not include Bassett's Lane.
Correct.
Right, so Bassett's Lane is a paper public road, and the acreage which Affordable Trust owns, the land of Bassett's Lane is not incorporated in that acreage.
From my understanding, yes.
Right, but
correct.
that does not mean that it's public, because
Right, I understand,
the underlying fee could be owned by somebody else.
absolutely.
But what he's saying is that it's not owned by the Affordable Housing Trust.
Right, they have no control over it.
Yeah, based on the maps that I've seen, it's not part of what we own.
And if it's, in all the maps that I've seen that Marion was looking at, it calls Bassett's Lane public. Again, I haven't done the title research, I don't know, but it says it's public. But if it was a private road, then actually under the derelict fee statute, the Affordable Housing Trust would own,
But not all of it, I don't
they'd
think.
own to the center line,
I don't know if they own on,
We have both sides.
yeah, they have both sides. So
Yeah,
they
they-
don't
all the
own
way to
it.
124? I'm not sure if you do own all the,
No, because
Yeah.
Mrs. Childs would
Right.
be up
Oh,
against
okay,
that.
there'd be a
and
break
then
in it, okay.
Wayne Marsh line would be up
Yeah.
against that, so it's a little, it's kind of like where all the signs are when you get off exit 10. All those signs, when you look across, that's where Bassett's Lane is.
yeah.
That would be your right in, right only.
Right.
And then north of that too,
DOT would have
yeah,
to-
Mr. Murphy's DOT would have to weigh in on that. and that curb cut is there, but
And I understand all that.
But we need an
There's
eas-
complexities with it, but I was
Yeah.
hoping we'd be able to have something which would alleviate a significant safety issue.
yeah, but you would need an easement for us to get up to the northwest corner where we
You
all.
have to give yourself an easement.
Correct.
Well, no, because there are other, again, it gets back to if it's a public road and the chairman is right, if it's a public layout and the town got permission to put in the curb cut on 124, then everyone could use it, because it's a public road. If it's a private road and the town gets permission to put in the curb cut, it raises some of the other issues that Brendan's
Yeah.
raising because of the break, childs
So
and,
the problem is
Yeah.
we don't have all the information we need.
well, but
Is that correct?
you don't have all the information to know about the road itself, the layout of the road itself,
Right.
public or private.
Yep, yep.
But you also, it's something that it is beyond the applicant's control, it's frankly beyond the owner's control, because they don't believe they own Bassett's Lane, and you've got that DOT moratorium, out there, and the question is, and maybe the town's having this meeting next week, maybe there'll be a better answer, but right now.
The DOT moratorium on,
Well, my understanding is that between, when you're within so many feet of the
Exit.
exit, Route 6 State Highway exit, you can't just throw in curb cuts.
You can't have
It's
it.
beyond the town's control.
so you're saying that the parking lot would not be allowed right now?
Probably not. Well, that's on the same side. No, it probably wouldn't.
Across the street.
Yeah, I think it's,
So we're
I
not
want
sure.
to say it's 250 feet from
That's what I heard.
That's
Yeah.
probably 250 or more.
But,
yeah.
but it can be waived by the state.
So what we're talking about, the entrance across from the parking right? Not Bassett's Lane.
You would need
For
an
me, it's
easement,
never
yeah,
been
we
a
would have to have an
consideration.
easement for you to get up to that. If you're talking about the northwest corner where we all parked and walked the
That's right,
property,
exactly.
yeah, I mean, you'd have to go through the upper fields, what the trust owns,
Yes.
to get to that.
Now, if the trust, when they develop that northern property, instead of making it private ways and roads, and actually the roads are made public roads, then it wouldn't be required any kind of easement or right-of-way for the Penrose property residents to go up through there.
Well, we have no idea where that future road would
Right.
go through that property, and whether it would even attach to the Penrose property. It might not, depending on what they do.
I think, one thing I want to point out, at least from, this is my point of view only, is that prior to the first meeting, I felt that the access at Queen Anne Road was a key safety issue, and that I thought that the development, I have major concern regarding that being the only access, and was thinking the only possibility was gonna be to develop Bassett's Lane, have a road out to Oak Street, and people egress from the site through Oak Street. After all the reviews from the traffic studies, the peer reviews from VHB, and the review in VHB, as a peer review, had looked at that and said that it met sightline concerns from their point of view. Obviously, at certain times during the day, things are backed up, but it does clear out, and it will clear out a little bit quicker once they do some review of the, well, that's a condition we need as far as making sure the light changing. Is that in there
No.
someplace?
That might be one of the 123.
Okay.
Is that one of the, is that one as a condition now?
Okay.
No, but is that listed in the VHB traffic?
Yeah, yes.
Then it will become one,
Okay.
yeah.
But-
If one of the
But
peer
the
reviewers.
point I was trying to make here is that after all the reviews and all the studies, I finally realized the fact that, and in talking to others, and, looking at the discussions we had in public meetings, was that I was then felt that there could be, reasonable access from the development during peak hours, which is the key thing, where the traffic study shown like 35 or 40 car trips during peak hours per day was going to be somewhat reasonable, and that it was not going to be a safety concern that I originally had thought it might be. And so then at that point, I was good to go with the egress for Penrose being strictly Queen Anne Road. But hopefully in the future, those curb cuts are allowed on 124, which that would relieve the situation. And should in the future Bassett Lane be connected to Oak Street, and then at Oak Street, which the applicants did a survey, a sightline survey, there can be, even today, fixed so that the sight lines of Oak Street can be improved, improved today based upon vegetations and height line situations where within 15 feet of the edge of a road, anything over 3 feet has to be removed. And if that got removed today, the sight lines on Oak Street at Queen Anne Road could be greatly improved. But anyways, I became convinced that the sole access on Queen Anne Road could be done safely, so I don't, no longer myself personally, consider it as a reason to deny the application.
My understanding of all the progression is the same as yours, that there was a lot of discussion about Oak Street and about 124, and all of those options basically came off the table.
Yeah,
And
so,
we-
there's been a lot of discussion. I'd like to find out when that came off the table, because it's not come off the table in any of these meetings.
I don't agree with that, Chris.
I thought it had. I felt we've had discussions that we were, during the meetings, that we were okay with the scenario, but guess what? You know, the public meetings aren't over, so if we want to discuss it, let's go for it.
I think we are.
I have no problem continuing this discussion, because it is an important item. What I'd like to do is just table it for 1 minute and just confirm that, so, one, the light changing, the fact that the applicant is going to be, and in, hopefully with some sort of cooperation with the Pine Oaks Village, because they were doing the same thing, to reset the light sequence at an appropriate time.
I think that's all they offered, is some amount of money or whatever for the study.
I think it was $5,000.
$5,000,
Sharing
right.
with
Yep.
Pine Oaks.
Well, I believe that's gonna be in the conditions.
Remember this, yeah.
So that's part of the conditions, is that correct, Amy?
I will make it one, yes.
Right. So that's gotta be in there as a condition.
Okay.
We also, during the review with the VHB, we had, for a condition, to include a construction-level ADA grading package. That was the second item on their report. And we also, as a condition, indicated, another condition, what we decided was that parking spaces will not be used for snow storage.
Yep.
Parking spaces on the site.
Yep.
Okay, that was another condition that we talked about. I just want to make sure that that's in the conditions.
Yep.
Everyone all set with those two conditions? Okay. All right. I think that concludes, and again,
No, it doesn't. You have.
There's two more on the
more.
back page of the last page.
oh, yeah, that's right, okay, thank you. All right, so I just want to get to that done.
Landfill certification.
So I'd like to wrap up the conditions we have writing, then let's go back to the parking, to the egress discussion.
Well, I mean, it sounds like what I'm hearing from Amy, everybody else that has some information on this, that there really is no way to condition it.
Oh, as far as the egress, no, but you gave me the impression you felt that we stopped talking about safety issues of the Queen Anne Road egress.
No, we never addressed it.
All right,
I
so.
felt like it was necessary to address.
So let's finish the,
Because we talked about doing it, and early on in these meetings, we said this is something we really need to do. It relieves 40% of the traffic, which goes on 6 East.
oh, absolutely,
And it was something that early on, we said, this is required.
right.
And then it,
And I felt the same way early on.
and I still feel that way. And I don't see anything, other than nothing moved, why we can't do that. I didn't get it. It sounds like if there's legal things, Amy, that we just don't have access to it, and there's absolutely no way we could do this. So there's no condition we could put in here.
We could put a condition that the applicant shall explore alternate access with the Affordable Housing Trust.
Yes, and that would come in.
Doesn't sound like it's much teeth to that.
Correct.
They could have a couple of conversations in the hallway and say we couldn't do anything.
So you want a condition that they have to,
Petition the DOT to have a curb cut,
from where?
the exit where we all parked, across from the parking ride.
And then what would that connect to?
And if that one's allowed, the Affordable Housing Trust will allow access to a road to that exit.
Yeah,
Would that be a driveway through their land? You
Yeah,
can't do a road
something
without
like
a
that.
subdivision.
I forget about Bassett Lane, that thing would be, there's no way they're gonna give you an
Well,
access to that.
Yeah, and then now you have, so now, they can't just create a road.
It's not a road, it's a driveway.
go, excuse-
Driveway through somebody else's property.
It's their property. The only thing that could be an issue is Bassett Lane, and I thought that would be resolved by now. But Bassett Lane's the only thing you have to cross,
I'll do
which
that
we're doing
condition.
already for the auxiliary parking, by the way.
I think the request, I mean, one consideration here is, and again, I didn't think we could make a condition out of it, is that the Affordable Trust and Penrose, as the Affordable Trust, I believe in your agreements, has been given egress rights through the Penrose property to Queen Anne Road. That was my one understanding that I thought existed at some point. That the reverse side of that, the fact that the developments on the north, I'm assuming if that is developed, and the state will allow for a curb cut at that top corner, that the Affordable Trust, or that development will end up having a road network, whether it's private or public, that will, which will utilize a curb cut on the 124. And should it be public roads, then no agreement is needed, because if Bassett Lane is public road and all of the roads on the north property are public, then everyone will have a right-of-way and public right to cut through that property in the north to get to the egress.
But who's gonna improve Bassett Lane?
That only gets improved based upon the development of north, and it's not the responsibility of Penrose.
But
We can't condition that.
You can't
That's,
force
and
the
that's the
town to do
problem,
it.
isn't it?
Right, we can't condition it.
You can't.
And you can't put a road on the trust northern land without the town taking it by eminent domain.
Not a road, a driveway.
But then you're having a driveway
Yeah,
from a
it's-
public road. It would
I mean-
be a nightmare, I
Can
think.
you address the concern
We have a driveway
sort of
right now
different
off of
way?
Public Road on Queen Anne into your property.
Yep.
Can you address it by restricting any through traffic through this development? Which essentially would get Penrose what they need, but basically, if the trust wants to build future stuff, they gotta figure out a different way to get people in there.
Well, you raise a point that should there be development in the future, and there is an access on 124, you're gonna find people that would be tempted to cut through the Penrose property to get to Route 6.
Sure they would.
So, and it's private land, so I think maybe there's I don't know how we condition the client, the applicant, to,
We did the same thing on POV 4.
we didn't restrict,
We didn't restrict access, but there was a concern about people making that cut through.
right, but I don't believe we addressed that in the
We didn't.
decision.
No?
And PW4 actually had those two entrance egresses. These guys don't even have one. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't restrict something.
Well,
that
that's what I'm saying is,
doesn't
there
exist.
are other, I think if I'm reading, Chris's comments right, it's specifically because of the traffic that's already there on Queen Anne, right?
Well,
Because
that
if you
makes,
drive-
that makes the safety issue.
Because if you
correct.
drive around town, you got Queen Anne Court farther on where there's like 20-something condo units, and you've got actually the original Pine Oaks, which is 66 units, that all have only one entrance to the road.
Sure.
So it's not the one entrance that's your concern, it's where the
It's
one
the
entrance.
current condition that it's entering into, correct.
But again, I think that's,
And also keep
so
in
the
mind,
applicant's perspective, they've moved it as far from the
I get that.
intersection as the land they've agreed to build on can allow. So I don't know that we can condition different entrance, but like I said, maybe we can restrict that,
well,
should there be future development, that this does not become a through road.
the other, keep in mind here that the infrastructure issues, in this case of Queen Anne Road and 124, it's already been well documented that it is already an existing infrastructure problem, and that was documented in the North Harwich traffic study that was done in 2024. It's the town's responsibility to improve the infrastructure of that road, which would enhance both safety and egress, whatever, from all residents in the area, including those of Penrose. If we deny for any reason this in my opinion, we deny this 40B based upon the traffic problems on Queen Anne Road, the state is just going to override that in a heartbeat.
I understand, it's already a disaster.
Right,
This isn't making it a disaster, but already is a disaster. But
Right.
it's creating an unsafe situation in the disaster.
and now the town, it's the town's responsibility, well, in my opinion, it's the town's responsibility, but through the traffic studies and the reports from your traffic consultant, and they demonstrated as well to the town highway manager, that there is ample town-owned property, right away, to put in a second lane on Queen Anne Road. So that the town has the ability to add another lane
You
on
can't
that.
condition that, right?
We can't condition it.
So
But the safety issue is the town's responsibility. The town needs to improve, get that highway study that was done.
I agree. Ken made an excellent point, I think during POV, this is the town's responsibility. They've abdicated this.
Right, so it's not their fault, the fact that
So
the
I-
infrastructure hasn't been improved.
Amy, is there any type of condition we could put on that would satisfy the concern that we all had early on, and I guess some people have been able to convince themselves, I'm not convinced, I don't mean that in a negative way, that have convinced themselves that it's safe, that they have come to the conclusion that it's safe. Is there any condition we can put on which would take 40% of the traffic out of this unsafe situation?
No, I could, I have the condition you wanted, which is applicant to petition Mass DOT to create a curb cut along Route 124 and allow residents to access said curb cut through land owned by the Affordable Housing Trust.
Is that something we could do?
No, but that's what you wanted, so I put it in. I mean,
Well, I don't want to put something in that's not, that you don't think, you are. Right, I know, that was my question, exactly.
I can't,
That can't be done, is what I'm hearing.
No, you cannot, I mean, you have to look at it from a practical standpoint. You are requiring them to go through property that they have no control over. The Affordable Housing Trust, they could have that reserved for somebody else. We can't force the landlord to allow people to go through their property if it's not part of this project. And it sounds fine here, but the Housing Appeals Committee, there's no way they're gonna.
I understand, that's the issue, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no way they'll make them do that. There's case law. There's,
I understand,
I mean,
believe me, I just wanted to
Paul-
come up with a way that we might
Well,
be able to get this
I-
done.
I mean, Paul Haverty is on the line. He could confirm that there's case law, there's Housing Appeals case law that says that you cannot require them to use property that they don't have control over.
There's Paul. Paul?
I agree with Amy. That is something that would get overturned pretty quickly.
Okay?
All right. Thank you, Paul. You're in your paycheck for the night. Thank you.
Amy convinced me.
I called
I
him
didn't need to
out.
have a
I mean, for personally, I mean, again, I think we all sort of share it, is I didn't come to the conclusion that this is safer. I came to the conclusion that it makes it no worse than it already is, and our own consultant basically says that.
And unfortunately, that is
and-
the standard
Yeah.
for,
Yes,
that's
it's
the
bad,
standard for traffic.
but our own consultant says it's not significantly.
So just to wrap it up, I understand where you're coming from. That's exactly the conclusion I came to with POV 4.
Yeah.
But POV 4 didn't have traffic backed up, people having to make blind corners. There's no sight line when there were cars parked on both sides and people come down at 35 miles an hour out of that intersection. So, we all know what's gonna be. Growing up in the city, I did that all the time, right? You come out of these blind corners and you pray, and that's what we're doing.
so.
Well, hopefully, select board and the town,
Are watching.
will start to take that traffic study and
Right, I mean, they gotta do something with that intersection.
and improve that intersection and put that extra lane in, which is needed now anyways, regardless of,
I agree
Penrose.
with Chris's point. Right now, it backs up beyond their driveway. Right now, all the time, I go there as well.
yeah, I was there the other day.
Their improvements are needed right now, regardless of whether they put in their thing or not.
So it's up to the town fathers to start address these transportation and infrastructure issues. Okay,
Let's throw the ball into that
Next
part.
page.
We can't do it.
oh yeah, thank you. All right, turning to the back page. Other conditions.
What's this back page?
Affordable schedule as proposed remains okay. All right, so now with the schedule, thank you, Ken, on perpetuity. So, I just want to comment that, and I did send Amy a note on this, but I didn't discuss it with the board. I have changed my position on this. I was, in the last few meetings, firmly, my feet, firm in the fact that I was not in favor of the agreement which the Affordable Trust and Penrose had done regarding their opinion of perpetuity and how we're gonna be handling the number of affordable units, within either a 25-year or a 50-year timeframe, whatever. And I decided the fact that the Affordable Trust prepared an RFP with consulting with the state, and I think Mass Housing, and they have spent 3 or 4 years helping to bring this development to this stage. And during that process, after the RFP went out, and they finally decided, and they picked Penrose as the developer that they felt would do the best job for the community. The negotiations included what I believe is on this applicant's proposed conditions, I believe the Affordable Trust document and the agreement with the Penrose and Affordable Trust is item 2 here. And I could be, all right, so
Correct.
item 2 reflects the agreement between the Affordable Trust and Penrose. There's 1 and there's 2. After the number of years and time that the Affordable Trust spent working on this opportunity, and if they felt the fact that this is what they had to negotiate to get the right deal done for the town, I am going to be in fully support of that. I don't have the background nor the time spent in all the negotiations to Monday morning quarterback the Affordable Trust. And in my opinion, I believe I am going to be supporting the condition number 2 and have that to be what we put in our decision, so that it meets the terms and the agreement between the Affordable Trust and and Penrose. I further believe the fact that the $600,000 grant the Affordable Trust gave Penrose also has reasonable ties regarding how they maintain the number of affordable units. And I don't have the details on that, but I think that was also tied in the agreement and the granting of that. And certainly Brendan's here tonight who can speak to that. But the key thing here is that I'm not looking for the same perpetuity agreement that we did with Pine Oaks. This case here, this was developed as a friendly 40B, and at the end of the day, the 2 parties, the town represented by the Affordable Trust and Penrose, reached an agreement that included item 2, so I'm going to be in fully support of that. So I'm off my soapbox. Anybody else care to comment?
I think just one point of clarity also, it's not either or, it's both conditions will apply. And the first condition is that 25% of the units at 80% of AMI will be affordable in perpetuity, as long as we do not comply with your zoning regulations, which will be,
Forever.
yeah.
Right. And item 2 is terms that give it at least 50 years.
That's for additional units above
Additional.
25%.
Right.
And number 1 is the one that will comply with funder requirements.
Right.
As Carmen said, it's both of them, it's not either or.
Anyways, these basically are what you and the Affordable Trust came to an agreement on.
Correct.
Okay. And that is what, I'm going to support I'm going to support the decision that the Affordable Trust made when they entered an agreement with Penrose.
So I have a question. Weren't there some other categories of affordability which are included in at least your initial rent-out plan?
Yeah, so in addition to the 25% at 80%,
Yep.
the proposed affordability that we showed in our plan, those restrictions will apply for the 50 years. That's what the second
That's what the
box
second one does.
is referring to.
Captures all those other
30, 50,
categories.
and 60.
So your current plan
Different
will go for
percentages.
50 years.
Correct.
After that, one kicks in.
Was not.
Okay.
One,
Meaning it'll be at least 25.
it'll be at least, yes, correct,
Forever.
forever.
And that's at the 80%, so those other ones that we're talking about are at the 30, 60, they're at different income levels.
Yeah.
But the 80% units are the ones that, 25% of those, which will be forever.
What about the ones at 30, 50?
30, 50, and 60. would
Those
be
are the 50 years.
Those are 50 years, and then after 50 years, they go away, but the ones at 80 remain.
Correct.
They may go away.
They may
They may go away,
that's
they may
correct.
not, yeah.
Right.
But the 25% at 80
There's no
remain.
restriction if they went away. Can we do this in units? Do me a favor. So,
You can make us do math?
it's a little math, yeah, 'cause I know we have 60 total units. Devil's in the details, right? 60.
And all 60 units have some affordability that we have proposed
Okay, for the next 50 years.
for the next 50 years.
So 25% of 60 is,
15.
well,
So
15.
15 are forever.
So 15
and
are forever.
5 are not.
So after 50 years, at least 15 will remain forever.
Correct.
And 40 and 45 are locked in as affordable for 50 years based on this language?
Correct.
Correct.
I have no other comments on it.
Excuse me?
I have no other comment on it.
I'm good.
Well, okay, the question here is that, you know, look, each of us here, I mean, I've stated what my feelings are. Does anyone, is there anybody opposing this condition as written on 1 and 2? And, John? No.
Nope.
Chris?
And Amy, again, I know I think this is contrary to our last meeting, your comments. I know that Paul said he had seen one that wasn't into perpetuity with a springing clause. And help me understand, when we went to POV, we said, no, they're all forever.
Correct. So POV, there's 2 differences between this and POV. POV did not have 100% affordability, and this one does. And POV was not, the applicant was not subject to a land disposition agreement.
What does that
Which-
mean?
They have a land disposition
Oh, the
agreement with the
rental
Affordable
buildings.
Housing Trust that lays these things out. And so that's where they're limiting, that's the difference.
Their only capital is the buildings
Mhm.
that they're borrowing against, right?
And they're already required by the land disposition agreement to do
Right.
those other things.
I'm gonna defer once again. Do you have any opinion on these 2 conditions?
I was able to have a conversation with Marion about the land disposition agreement. I do see I do understand a little bit more now about how their hands are tied with that. So I think, so here's another way that I look at it, is that the only thing they have to do is number one. So they only have to provide 15 units. So they're providing extra units. They're providing extra units at, of 60 units. They're only proposing 60 units here. And 100% of them will be affordable. But honestly, when it comes right down to it, the only thing you could require is 15 units for them to be a 40B. They would still qualify as a 40B if they came in with only 15 units at 80%. Instead, you're going to get 45 units at 30, 50, and 60 for 50 years, at least.
Thank you. So the 25% is?
Required.
That's a state requirement?
Yes.
That's the 40B
That's the
comp
40B
permit
requirement, that's the number, so you can't go lower than that.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. So this 50 years, what's the state requirement, how many years?
So that's interesting. So the state requirement is not necessarily perpetuity. And so that's why we put in that they have to be affordable unless they can comply with zoning, which typically means perpetuity. We also will sometimes require a springing affordability requirement where once the regulatory agreement with the state runs out, once that expires, the town regulatory agreement kicks in, and that also helps protect units to stay on the SHI. So we could do both, or we could just do the standard one, which is, as long as they're not in compliance with zoning, they have to remain in perpetuity, or they have to remain affordable at 80%.
My struggles with this, to the board and to the applicant, is that I think we walked into this process, at least I did, assuming we were gonna have, again, maybe potentially naively, or being naive, that it was going to be into perpetuity, that the town of Harwich, the Affordable Housing Trust, was gonna give money to a for-profit developer for permanent affordable housing. This is not permanent affordable housing. This has a timeline on it. And this was not, as I entered into this negotiation, as I entered into this process, and have just fulfilled another one, where we did indeed include the springing clause, that in my mind was permanent affordability for those that were affordable. So I'm struggling with this,
You were expecting 100% to be affordable for perpetuity?
Yes, we did the previous one.
No, they didn't have 100%.
but they had 80%.
85%, something
80
like that.
Yeah,
big
they-
number, it's a huge number,
Well, 195 out of the 242 that were affordable.
yes. And they were into perpetuity, Dave.
Yep.
And so I was under the impression we were gonna go into perpetuity with this as well.
So I think my response to that is I don't know how the other applicant will be financing their property and whether or not they will actually be able to get financing at the end of the day with that condition applied. I think our stance is that based on our experience, there is a risk that putting this restriction in perpetuity would have challenges for us to get to financing. And because we have to spend a lot in order to get to a stage where we are ready to get a permanent lender, get a construction lender, get a tax credit investor, these are financed through tax credits. This affordable in perpetuity puts their underwriting at risk and challenges whether we have confidence that this project at the end of the day will be able to line up all the people we need to get this built.
They told us the same thing, exactly in those words.
Yep.
And then they did not appeal our decision.
And if they can't get funding, they'll be back for an amendment request at some point.
Well,
And
I
I think,
assume I'm not involved.
and I think the,
I suspect you're correct.
and I think the other thing for us is that in 50 years, I think we will probably be refinancing this over the lifetime of this before the 50 years, because there's gonna be capital improvements that will need to be made to the roof, to the heat pumps, and for affordable housing projects like this, where it's 100% restricted, there's not a lot of significant cash flow that we can use to make those upgrades, so we'll have to refinance. And it's more that when we refinance, we need to have flexibility, because we don't know what the world's gonna look like in 50 years.
Of course. The one thing that sways me to not vote against this, although I haven't decided, based specifically on this, everything else being resolved in my mind, is the lease, the land lease agreement. Because indeed it was negotiated in good faith, and this is a friendly, affordable B. But at this point, I am gonna withhold my decision on this.
Sure, no,
I mean, I'm not saying yes or no, I'm just withholding how I'm gonna vote.
I guess that, you know, and we want to move on to the public. I think we're done with everything at the moment.
Does have a comment or not?
I have a question, actually, just maybe to Amy on the wording of the last sentence of condition number 1. When it says, "The affordable units shall be maintained as affordable in perpetuity, which for the purpose of the decision shall mean so long as the property does not comply to applicable zoning requirements without the benefit of the comprehensive permit." So if we fast forwarded 50 years and they said, you know, actually, we don't want, you know, we're gonna keep the 25%, but we wanna, you know, go to 100% market or above market, they would then have to come back and make some changes to the property, comply with zoning, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's not like they're just gonna flip
Oh,
them.
no.
They would have to come back again to get zoning approval for the changes they wanna make, which can then be disapproved.
When they come back 50 years from now, you know, I'm
Yeah,
here with
so
my
again, so
board.
it's not like at
have
the
my
end of
gavel,
50
we'll
years,
work
they
on
can
that.
suddenly just raise the rent on everybody that's living there. That's not the way it works.
Summarize what you just said again early on.
So that last sentence in the article basically says that.
Number 1?
In article number 1.
Oh,
Sorry, number 1.
About the in perpetuity, which for the purpose of this decision will be as long as the property does not comply with the applicable zoning without the benefit of the comprehensive permit. So we're waiving the zoning right now, so they're gonna get the benefit of the comprehensive permit. If they wanted to suddenly change this into a marketplace, and change the configuration of some of the units, they'd have to come back to zoning and apply for a new permit to do that.
But only for 25%.
Right.
Correct, for
Only
25%.
for 15 units.
Yep. No, for the balance of the
The
units,
other
For everything.
75.
for everything besides the 25 units.
Yeah. They would need, I would say they'd need approximately 20 to 30 variances.
But
If you
at
do
the
it.
end of 50.
If I'm reading that correctly, that's why I'm kind of deferring, but it seems to me like it's not just at the end of 50 years, it sunsets and they can do whatever they want. They would have to come back.
Well, the units can, and just to be clear, I mean, at the end of 50 years, if they haven't refinanced and extended the period for something else, which they likely would have, in theory, if nothing else happens for 50 years,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure none of us will probably be sitting at these tables, but if in 50 years, the 45 units you couldn't change them, but they could charge market rents.
Right.
That's the only difference, which wouldn't have to come back to you. Any other change to the site itself obviously would.
But these are not gonna be bigger units, they're not gonna be.
Oh, no, they can't be
Yeah, they
changed.
can
The
make
units can't be changed,
modifications.
no.
Be a
like that.
50-year-old apartment complex.
Correct.
I mean, it's just kinda, the risk is there, but these are not gonna suddenly become 200% of market. You know,
That's just a business discussion.
yeah, I mean, but again, I think practically, it is a theoretical concern, but I think practically, it's not like these are suddenly the 30% units are gonna become 230% units, right? I mean, without significantly reconfiguring the property to a higher level of, higher standard, which would require modifications and applications and,
Yeah, any modifications would have to come back.
yeah, so.
So is it correct to say that the other, going down to number 2, the 30, 50, and 60% units, they have to be affordable for at least 50 years, and then after the 50 years, they can only be terminable by a senior lender in the event of a foreclosure?
No, that's the old, Oh,
No, the terminable by senior foreclosure is within the 50 years.
That's within the 50 years?
That's within the, after
Okay.
50 years, this would go away. That's why I was saying to John, after 50 years, assuming no foreclosure, not, you would have 45 50-year-old apartments, to your point, that could be rented at what was then the market rate, whatever it was then. But market rate for what they are.
But any repairs, improvements, upgrade would have to comply with zoning. Well, of course, it's been grandfathered in.
Well, state building code,
They're
I mean, any
outside, yeah.
repairs would have to comply with
Outside
whatever the law
maintenance,
was.
right?
Yeah, outside.
Outside of regular maintenance, but any changes would have to come.
Right, and by then, they might actually be on the sewer.
But if it's a non-conforming,
So that, yeah, that's,
you're not gonna be able to stop them from,
Well, it says without the
Continuing the
benefit of a
non-conforming.
comprehensive permit, right?
but if they're not, if they're permitted under a comprehensive permit, they're not technically pre-existing.
okay.
It's not a special permit
Switch gears.
situation.
That is, and that's
Not
a.
permit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that they'd have to-
It's really difficult. Like
Yeah.
when people wanna put like a garage or a shed, and say it's under 40B,
Yeah, I could see it'd be a mess.
yeah, it's messy.
Just to wrap it up, Brian, I don't know, I thought POV originally came in with, they wanted to have these only for 30 years, or was it 50 years? Does anyone recall their original proposal that we nixed and said it had to be in perpetuity?
So it's my recollection, and I can't say it's
That's fine.
right,
Yeah.
but it's my recollection that they came in with everything in perpetuity, and then towards the end, they said, oh, no, we can't do it in perpetuity.
But
And
they
then
had some number that was less than 50 years.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I was,
it
I
30.
guess I
It was
came in
30,
here
yeah.
thinking, yeah, so I came in here thinking this needs to be in perpetuity.
As I recall, they
50
came,
years, huh? Go ahead.
no, as I recall, they came in and early on requested to get the same deal that Penrose is getting regarding how we were handling.
50 years.
Yeah, they wanted, they brought up the Penrose agreement with the
At
Affordable
the
Trust.
end, Not at the beginning.
At the end.
At the end?
Right, they did,
Anyways,
in fact,
Anyways, they wanted this deal.
And they didn't get it.
yeah.
But I'm not trying to make the argument for Penrose, but I do think one difference between the two is POV owns the land, which has intrinsic value.
Right.
So when they go out for financing, they can get financing for both the land and the buildings. Penrose only has a right to use the land. They have no interest in the land. So their financing is gonna be 100% on the value of the buildings. So their financing is probably a little bit more difficult to get.
Absolutely.
That's a
I
good
agree with
point.
And again, Pine Oaks was what might be considered a, not a friendly 40B application, and this one is.
That's kind of irrelevant, I mean.
It is, but
But,
they worked with, the
50
Penrose
50
folks
years-
worked with
50
the
years.
town on this project.
50 years seems not unreasonable. I thought it was gonna be shorter if you came in with the timeline. 50 years seems reasonable. It's just, we did do it to POV, and it doesn't seem right that we should have separate
POV was the springing
rules for
agreement,
different
right?
groups.
Was what we put, we did a springing agreement on POV. right?
Yeah.
We can do one here if we wanted to.
I guess, the reason why it's 50 years is because, the financing for this, 80% of it will come in the form of either tax credits or subsidy from the state. And the state's strings that they attach to projects for giving the millions and millions of dollars is the 50-year requirement. So that's
Meaning
why
no
we're,
less than 50.
sorry?
Meaning
At
no
least
less than
50 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Less than 50. So, John makes a good point, though, about, wasn't aware of that. You might have pretended that the building has less value than the building and land, and that obviously gave them a big advantage for doing that, for getting any kind of longer-term loan, so.
They own 31 acres, right?
Hmm?
You only have a right to use 4 point something.
It's a collateral issue at that
Yeah.
point, like you got in order financing.
All right, any further discussion on this? Okay. So, I realize that Ken has not made still holding back his position, but for right now, regarding the draft decision, we're going to include this, Amy, as we're showing here in 1 and 2.
I will, and then you guys can decide. You don't have to make a decision tonight.
Okay. Right. All right, want to get to public comments in a moment, but just to address which I think we've already done on the agenda. We've done 5. 6 was covered up in our discussions regarding the conditions in the waiver review. Everyone agree on that? And,
I don't know if we covered egress at Queen Anne, road signage and road marking.
Where are you now?
On the
On
agenda.
the
That's
agenda.
bullet
Oh,
item 6.
sorry.
on the agenda, so I don't know who, I believe it's going to be the town's responsibility, quite frankly, but in one discussion, it was, there were a couple of things. One, putting up proper signs, I think, on your property, talk about whatever to give people, with people, as far as driving cars, you can't fix stupid, okay? No, but we need to remind people as they leave the property to not be stupid. So I don't know what those signs look like, but it's almost like don't be stupid signs when you leave here. If the traffic's backed up, don't take a left-hand turn unless you have sight line. Let it flow out. But the other part of it was brought up by your traffic company, to have the area in front on the road blocked out so people don't park there. That's not your responsibility, that's the town's, I'm quite sure.
I thought they were willing to pay for it.
Yeah, you'll pay for,
Condition, good point.
that's right,
It was in,
I thought that was part of your.
That was a condition.
they
So-
agreed, I think, to do pretty much what Pine Oaks agreed to do, right? Some amount of money for the
That's
talking
the
about the
intersection.
signaling,
Right.
reset.
Talk about the painting.
No, but I
of
think
the-
there's
Painting of
also-
boxes.
there's like
Yeah, I think
5,000
we're
there's like
fine with,
5,000
All right,
for
so we
painting.
need to add a
If
condition.
the town
Right,
agrees
well,
to
I
do
think
it.
that
Yeah.
$5,000 thing that we've had before. Amy
was for
said-
the
is-
signalization.
That's,
No, it's for timing of, it's for safety, it's for signage, it's for timing of the lights. I think that was a whole,
At that intersection.
I thought it was strictly just the timing of lights.
There were
I did
two,
too.
because in Pine Oaks Village, there was two. There was one for the retiming, and there was another allowance item for contributing towards whatever the town decided to do in regards to slow zone signs or repainting of the stripes and everything. There was an agreement.
Right, there was something they had to
we've
do
asked
near
for-
their entrance. It was
we've
gonna
actually
be
had
a
this
speed radar indicator or something like
Yeah,
that.
they agreed to pay some amount of money towards whatever the town decided
Right.
to do.
So petition the town and pay for striping, et cetera, the box, signage, in order to assure access.
Amy, did we have a standard, are you looking at the POV one?
Yeah, I just got kicked off, so I'm getting back.
Paying for the painting,
Yeah.
probably is fine, I guess about
But I can't
petitioning the
hold
town, I don't know who does it or how it's done, but
Yeah.
you just
it's-
call Link and say, are you willing to do it? I mean,
Yeah,
that might be
you could
what
ask
it
the town to do it, the town does it, and you pay up to $5,000, whatever the number is on, I don't know, that's the number I believe was
I think
5 or
that's in
10.
Pine Oaks.
It was 5 for the lights.
Yeah,
And there was another.
We did have, there was another, there was at least two.
I mean, that's an
They want
important
you to
part of
ask
this, if,
CBW,
Yes, it is.
I guess you can do. Only Cooper's do.
I mean, that is maybe the important part of this.
I'm glad I put it on the agenda.
Again, I don't think they agreed to do it, they agreed to pay a portion of whatever the town decided to do.
Correct. But, yeah, I don't think they can do it.
Correct.
Town
Yeah,
has-
no one can do work in the
Yeah,
layout, I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
But ask the town, petition the town, get agreement, whatever, however the wording would have to be.
Why don't we move on, and Amy, can you find some verbiage on that and get it to Penrose as well and to the board?
I think we can pull it from their documents because it was their traffic and safety.
So, Mr. Chairman, what I did want to go over with everybody is that we're meeting on the 25th.
5th, 9th.
So that meeting, I would have a draft decision for you. I'll have it before then, but that, we would go over the draft decision like we did the last time.
Yes,
The entire thing. So when I do that draft decision, I go through all of the peer review reports, I go through all of their report, and I take all of those conditions, so they'll all be in there.
okay. And just do some sort of consideration for the item there for the, signage and egress at the road markings on Queen Anne Road. You need
And
to
that's from Pine Oaks, because I now have it.
look at the Pine Oaks, and then on the 25th, we can work out the details of how that's gonna look. and think about it and come up with a dollar range that you would consider for contribution on that.
Yeah, I think our traffic consultant included, some,
Right, so-
in his presentation, had some.
Let's just go back and take a look at that. Okay, so we're now at a public comment period, and I believe, I know we have at least one person in the public that would like to speak. I think,
Do you want them here or
besides,
over there?
no, you can stay there.
You stay.
Tom, and anybody else that wants to speak tonight? Okay, and your name, sir, I forgot. That's right, okay, thank you.
Might be somebody online, too.
All right, so we're going to, let's go for comment period for up to 20 minutes, for a public comment period. Anybody have a problem with that timeframe?
20 minutes each?
No, total. Total 20 minutes. We go, basically, we're gonna go around 9:35 or whatever. And I think, we'll, like to address things and try to keep your comments within 5-6 minutes or so, and we're not gonna time anybody out tonight, okay? So, Tom, please, you can go first.
Thank you, Chairman.
My pleasure.
My name is Tom Stapleton from Red Pine Drive over here.
And one interruption, you all would have received in your packets a letter that Tom sent in. Okay, thank you, Tom.
If you could put that photograph, that'd be great. So, the ZBA is focused on safety, parking, and environmental impact challenges while working to maintain our town's rural character. I think there's truth there. These concerns generally resulted from a resident per acre density, that's about my estimate 10 times our bylaw allowable. The 90-bedroom project sits on 5.4 acres, we know that, of a 13.9 bigger parcel that is currently controlled by the Housing Trust, known as Marsland Property. Following lengthy discussions to address shortage of on-site parking and related safety concerns, an agreement between all parties resulted in an additional parking area, we know that. As the Penrose team worked through different issues, they found that certain elements that had been included in the proposal had to be removed in order to maintain a 60-unit project capacity. The removed elements included a second open space, an overall reduction of open space area, a walkway to Queen Anne Road, depth of tree-lined street buffers, a bus stop shelter, and I believe a pavilion. Not sure about the last one. And that's shown in Figure 1, which is here. That's a proposal. That's what they when the RFP went out, Penrose came back and said, we'll do this. Well, not quite that. The HAHT has initiated preliminary efforts to build a second 2 or 3 home affordable housing development on the remaining 8.5 acres behind the current site to the north. This project would be just north of the current project, and houses may consume about, I'm guessing, 4 acres. So we got 8.5 take away 4, and the parking area will take, I'm saying an acre, it sounds like less than that, but it's gonna leave about a 4-acre parcel or more that's gonna has no real purpose yet. What I'm proposing as a sensible next step, because my previous request for using the whole unit, that was not really embraced, so I'm going away from that. So the next step, in my opinion, would be to request that the HAT commit to the available 4 acres as open space. So they're gonna have it anyway. So I'm saying, because it's gonna be an affordable housing type thing, they're gonna have open space. I'm saying, identify the open space adjacent to the parking area. That's what I'm asking, so that they write a letter of intent. This is what we're going to do, Mr. Chairman and ZBA. By deploying the allocated funds that were intended to construct the removed elements, talking about Penrose, they could seamlessly integrate the current project with the adjacent open space. Both of these efforts should be easily executed and ideally reduce the impacts of the current resident density. So I'm saying here is, we have property in the back, there's a parking space, let Penrose build using some of the infrastructure that they've removed from the project, which has been paid for by somebody, and it's gone now, bring it back and use that to implement a nice integrated open space to this property, the 456 property. The inclusion of these elements may greatly improve the residents' life over the next 99 years and allow them to feel that the new open space was a natural extension of their own homes.
Proper integration would allow children from both projects to play as their parents may enjoy peaceful walks and gardening, which was also in the earlier proposal. There was images showing gardening on site, that's not there, on a town-supplied open space. It may reduce impacts to our environment by having more open space, our town's rural character, while increasing resident safety as properly designed recreational space is created. Okay, and this change, I say you guys have this letter, basically the 40B says that a big part of what we're doing here is to negotiate that we meet the town's needs. I'm speaking for the town here, not myself. And I think that this is something we can modify the project very easily without any real added cost. And it'll make all of us look a lot better that we're actually listening to the town and not listening, as opposed to not listening. It's not a substantial change, nor will it make this project uneconomical. So I think that legally, it shouldn't be a problem for Penrose, because they're already doing some work. If the argument to taking the whole piece of land is that, oh, wait, that's not part of the RFP, we can't do that. Well, as we all know, there is some inclusion of Penrose activity on land that is external to this boundary. So taking that same sentiment of thought and applying it to this application, I think is a pretty easy step to make. So what do we need to do? First, request a letter of intent from the Affordable Housing Trust that outlines their intent to supply 4 acres of open space that'll be adjacent and allow integration to the 456 Queen Anne project. Simple, they're gonna have to have it anyway. Why not just say, hey guys, I agree with Tom, let's put it over here so that both groups of people can enjoy it. And then the second part is for, include as ZBA condition of approval that directs Penrose to supply proper integration to an open space area adjacent to the parking lot or thereabouts, whatever works out best from a design perspective, extension by utilizing previously allocated funds. And I'm showing here what, you guys have seen all this, and I know, early on, this is like a proposal that Penrose made, but I have to say that they're putting such contractual sentiment on the RFP, which is less than a responsible proposal, which includes funding allocation. So to me, this should have the same level of expectation that it is met. We have to meet their RFP. I've been told that. We can't go beyond what they agreed to do, and I'm asking the same with Penrose. Elements were removed, put them back in. They're not big money elements, and walkways, little benches, some tree-lined stuff, and make this, again, bring some goodness back into this. And that's all I have to say about that.
Tom, well said, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate it. Jim? I don't know.
There was one a butter on before.
Catherine Childs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, the rest of the board. My name is Jim Pina, and to give you a perspective, if you visualize the plot plan, I don't know if it's easy to pull up or not, the entire east boundary of the Penrose development is on the abutter.
Okay.
From Queen Anne all the way back to Bassett Lane.
Right.
Okay, so that's the context of where I'm coming from. So most of my comments are more questions and clarification type of issues, and then I'll figure out if I'm mad or not. I'm just, so here's what, as I looked at what we went through tonight, I did not see any waivers for any rear setbacks. Am I correct?
There actually is no rear. It's frontage 3 sides around.
Side, whatever you want to
And
call
then
it.
the only setback, side setback, besides frontage, is actually on abutting your property.
But wouldn't that be the rear of those buildings?
Yes,
So side and rear, they're the same
right,
number,
yes,
right?
yeah.
They're not
So-
asking for a waiver.
But,
No.
right?
They're not asking for a waiver because it's the required distance from.
Okay, and now, so my next question is, since this is in the 6 ponds, Zone A and Zone B, what is that? Is it the 40 or is it the 25?
It's 25 and
but
40. That was the question I asked before. The waiver waives both of those. So, yeah, but they are 25.
Is that what it is?
Sorry.
I know that I know that the waiver says we'd like to waive, both A and B.
Zone A is 25 and Zone B is 40.
I understand.
He's asking.
So what I'm asking is, what is it though for this?
What is
You
the
know,
plan proposing?
Because
for
in,
that
what I'm saying is.
Your,
in the-
your
in the
side
list-
setback, the setback to your side is 25 feet.
As, that's what's in the site plan right now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Then, I also, in reading the VHB, VBA.
VHB.
Yeah,
Took me a while too, but go ahead.
And I haven't looked at site plans and things, but they indicated that there was a potential for runoff that was gonna go eastbound based on the grade. And that one of the recommendations from the engineering team was to put a trench in to catch that along that eastern boundary. If
I recall. Right.
I mean, I'm not quite sure for sure, but that's what I understood it to be. So my, then,
Go ahead.
so then my question is, I've got 25 feet from the boundary to the building, but the trench is gonna go in between that, I take it?
Right.
Right? Are there any, since this is a zoning board, are there any rules on where how far the trench has to be away from that boundary?
It's just a swale, a landscape swale, I think, right?
It's not a structure.
Yeah, not a
So,
structure.
so it
it's
can
just
be right up on the border, correct?
You can be on the property line.
Okay.
And they're gonna be planting along there. Again, I'm not 100% sure, I think most of those comments regarded were the retention pond near the street, which is why there's the two large retention ponds on either side of
That's my recollection.
the entrance. I don't think it was the entire east side.
Yeah, I'm just,
As the land slopes towards Queen Anne, that's why the two retention ponds are there.
And where I'm going with it was, we had earlier had some conversation around leaving as much of the existing large tree foliage there as possible, right? And then planting, you remember those conversations that we had with the Affordable Housing Trust as well. But my worry is that if a trench is being put in there and they put that trench right up on my boundary, there's no way you can do that with the existing trees there. So you catch my concern? There was a natural boundary they said they were gonna leave.
Yes.
And now we're at 25, feet, which is the smaller of the two, Zone A, Zone B. And I'm worried that, and I happen to be right across from that 38.5-foot building. Okay, and then the back half of my lot is gonna look like the rest of that, and then the parking lot.
You're worried that they take out all the trees?
Right up to my boundary, to put the trench in, and then we get, 6-foot bushes.
Penrose will have to comment down here.
Okay.
We've had the conversations, but now that the trench thing came along, it concerned me
I
that,
don't know if this helps at all to show you, the LOD line is the limited disturbance. So that's as far as they're gonna disturb. So it's about halfway between the property line and the buildings for most of your property until you get down to near where the retention ponds are.
okay.
Again, you could,
No, I appreciate
I
that,
have
and
many
I've
copies
seen,
of this
I've
if you
seen
wanna
some of
take
that.
this copy.
Mine was more about when VHB said, and then the response was, we're gonna put a trench in. And I questioned, whether that's really the disturbance line again.
We're happy to answer if.
Yeah, perfect, yeah. And I know I'm running long, so I'm probably.
No, you don't, do you have any other questions? So you're not gonna open it up for response?
That, I think, was the crux of it. I am concerned about the lighting issues as well, but.
All right. Attorney Singer.
Just confirmed with Angela, and we can get into more detail from Mr. Pina, but the trench is right hugging the sidewalk behind the buildings, and so it is not on the property line. The buffer landscaping that's there
Okay.
is remaining.
All right, is it, you guys may have seen drawings, is it possible, can I get a copy, see a copy of where
Is
the
it
trench is gonna go?
possible,
at some point?
I don't know if you have Mr. Pina's address. He's your main abutter on that side.
Could share the plans with you. so-
And
Yeah, that's what I'm.
if you could possibly, at your earliest convenience, provide him with a plan of how you're addressing that side regarding water runoff, the building of a swale, or whatever, and what the limits of your disturbance is going to be, and perhaps, and give him those facts as well as a verbal description of what your plans are to ensure there's no runoff on his property, and that particularly those tall trees that are there now that are not going to be disturbed, as we discussed. And I would appreciate perhaps if you have an opportunity, you know, get Mr. Silva's address tonight, and then provide him within the next few days, you know, that information.
Yeah, we can share the plans, then we get Mr. Pena just
Yeah.
Okay.
give
We
the
can
address
connect.
to
That's not a
somebody,
problem.
not me probably, but somebody.
Yeah.
We've
Sure.
spoken, I mean, many times.
Okay. But if there is correspondence with him regarding all that, after this meeting, if you could share a copy with Rachel, so we have information regarding what was transmitted to him. Okay, but I think he's here in a very cooperative nature, and would like to ensure the fact that his enjoyment of his property is not disturbed unreasonably.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
My pleasure.
The rest.
Okay, now, we have, could we unmute Charles, Catherine Childs? And I don't know if Catherine wants to speak tonight?
Hello. No, I think I'm good. Tom did a great job again. Thank you, Tom. I'm sorry I did miss half the meeting. I had a prior work engagement. Again, what I did hear was safety, safety, safety. So the traffic is going to be the big problem. So I just hope the size is way too big. And those are just really my concerns. There's no reason why we need to use all the land, you know, to the excess. So sort of like we're beating a dead horse here, but thank you for all your work and everything and your consideration. But again, it's just way too big for that corner. So hopefully the town will do the right thing.
Well, thank you for your comments, Catherine. Okay, I guess we're, yes, Tom.
One question, make proposals, but there's no action item assigned to it. Would the HA, we ask that they reply formally and the panels reply?
I can't, you have to attend one of their meetings. I can't require them.
What if it became a condition?
Can you go to the podium?
Yeah,
Oh, yes, thank you, Tom.
Sorry, but it just, you know.
I can't, okay, I don't believe, first of all, we can discuss here, and a member of the trust is here this evening, but I would recommend if you might consider attending a trust meeting to discuss whatever concerns you have that involve the trust itself.
So
It's a
if
thought.
hypothetically, if they agree with that thought, just hypothetically, then what would happen?
Well, at this stage of the game, given the fact that any major changes to the site development would kick off the fact that they'd have to start square one, redo an RFP, and we'd be back to square one.
I don't think that's what I'm saying. I think this is synonymous with the parking lot extension. That's just, so what I'm hearing is dead in the water.
I don't know what step we can take at this time regarding your proposals, all right? Does anyone have any, I mean, we all listen to Tom.
I mean, my comment is, I think your idea is fantastic for the future development of the trust, and you should address it with the trust. But I think just as we were discussing the road through the other property, I think for what is before us, it's not something we can act on.
So what bothers me is because elements were removed, and there's been no discussion about that. And all I'm asking is that they're resurrected and deployed in a different fashion.
That wasn't part of their application, those items.
They weren't.
No.
That was right out of the proposal, that picture I showed.
That was before, when they were having meetings with the town, before they gave us a proposal. We never saw that map. That was, and I
It's right out of
believe,
your website.
it may be, but as I understand things, that got changed considerably because of the request to change the egress further down on Queen Anne Road. And then the site development was reimagined.
Okay, I hear that, but I don't think that's quite accurate, because
Okay.
there's, open space is reduced by some large percentage, and nowhere was that,
Well, they reduced the open space there to increase the parking by 8 to 9 spaces. That was one reason for the open space being reduced. They met our requirement for increased parking. That's why that was reduced.
so in the third, no, I'm sorry to belabor this issue,
No,
but
but the picture that was up on the board in your presentation
Yeah.
was already modified by the time the comprehensive permit was applied for. So
Yes.
that's not part of what we're reviewing.
so
There were later changes that were made that reduced the one
Yes,
open
further
area
additions.
If it's
smaller.
on the website,
I'm not quite sure why it's on
Not
the
on the Board
website.
of Appeals
It's not on the
page.
board's website, it's probably on the Housing
Administration or-
Trust or
yeah.
somebody else's.
I don't,
website.
I've never seen that picture on our Board of Appeals website.
Hmm.
It was the first,
it was right in the 60 or 80-page proposal of Penrose. It's on your site. That's where I got it.
Their proposal is not on the Board of Appeals page because the proposal to the RFP had changed by the time they submitted their zoning board of
Okay,
appeals
I don't know
application.
where I got it, but it's off the town website somewhere.
it's up me off the town website, but it's not off the Board of
Okay,
Appeals
I
website.
apologize for that, I don't mean.
No, no, tonight was the first time, and actually, when I saw your letter, was the first time I had seen that design.
Again, I think the idea of having open space incorporated into the future development is a great idea, but again, I don't,
And I agree, you've presented a lot of really good ideas.
But they're not going anywhere.
Well,
No,
not
no,
as
no,
part of this
wait a minute,
application.
If I could jump in, they're outside the scope of this board's authority. They're not outside the scope of that man's authority.
But I hear that too, and I understand this board here claims to have complete authority.
But not over that land.
Over this
No,
project.
he has to, if possible, the HHT would have to write in a letter of intent that they would do that. That's what I'm asking you guys to request. them to do.
We only have jurisdiction over the acreage that's been rented by Penrose.
I understand that, okay.
We can't, we have no
Well,
authority.
yes and no, but you were able to get a parking area added.
That actually, I made a suggestion, and the two parties ran with it and came back with that proposal. We didn't condition it.
Okay, well, we can't make that similar suggestion in this matter?
I believe that parking thing was a safety issue.
I understand
And,
that. This is more of a quality of life issue. I appreciate
Oh, I
that.
hear you saying, but
I think safety issues are, luckily for us, one of the things we can condition things on.
So if I could convince the HAT to give you a letter of intent, would you request that Penrose review it, the application? Something they would consider doing?
Why wouldn't we?
yeah, we would.
Okay, I'll take that as the action
No,
then.
no, absolutely. I mean, there's limited time involved here.
I'm well aware. I've been told I came in at the 24th hour in this whole thing. I appreciate that.
No, I understand what you're saying, but yes, if obviously there's a reason for us to take additional action, we're gonna do it.
That's all I ask. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Just, again, because Tom, you spent a lot of quality time, our next meeting on the 25th is probably going to be the last meeting for any type of additional input, public input, and input from the applicant. Okay,
Unless we have an extension.
well, this is an extension. Okay. Any additional final comments, the discussion by the board?
Only one that I would make to Amy, and that's the condition that we make sure we have a copy of the formal agreement for the permanent adjacent parking area. I mean, did you agree with the Affordable Housing Trust?
Hasn't been an agreement negotiated yet. I think there was just a condition that we will reach to a agreement.
There is a condition.
There is a
To
condition.
reach it, but it's not an actual finished
Not to
agreement.
get the actual do you want the actual
No,
agreement?
no, just that they agreed to
So,
do that.
that
sort of
is,
permanent.
I think that's in there.
So the condition for having a road to exit would be the same.
I think the way we phrase it is because to give the trust flexibility if they decide to move the spaces, if they're doing something with the property, that we still have the 20 spaces, but it's not,
That's what I'm concerned about,
Yeah.
that we have.
that we have the
permanent-
spaces, but it's,
We have 20 spaces.
yeah.
so they only have to, they only have to enter into an agreement to secure the right to provide parking and related improvements. And that has to be done prior to the issuance of the first occupancy permit. But the condition doesn't require, I mean, I guess we need something from them.
I think we do.
So, all it says is prior to the issuance of the first occupancy permit, the applicant and the Affordable Trust to enter into an agreement to secure the right to provide parking and related improvement. There's some, we have to be provided with either the agreement or,
What about the motion?
something, yeah,
Yeah, so I
something.
can provide the
We
motion.
need some, because how would the building commissioner know? You know, the building commissioner would need something before he gives out the first occupancy.
I could send a copy of our minutes as well for the
Yeah,
meeting. Okay?
something like that, okay.
We had one
All right, I'm
word.
sorry, what do you want to accomplish, Brendan? I just missed that.
I'll be sending a copy of the minutes from that meeting where we did the motion to provide the 20 parking spaces, and there's
Okay.
language in there.
Just something they can hand to the building commissioner.
Yep.
Yeah,
Is that to
approved.
be incorporated all into our decision?
That's in one
That's a
of the
condition on that.
conditions.
Condition one.
Condition
20
one.
and permanent.
20 and permanent.
Can we add
Yes.
and contiguous?
Well,
No,
wait a second,
No?
not contiguous.
first with
To the-
first with
To the
permanent.
property?
We,
You got the way.
20.
Let's go one thing
Oh,
at a
wow.
time.
Yeah, stop. Because permanent, because we can do permanent. I was thinking permeable. So that's right.
Well, it's gonna be permanent.
It's getting late.
Permeable permanent.
So
Permanent permeable site.
But not tied to a specific permanent
Permanent,
location on.
so it would be, north of the project, and then in parentheses, here and after auxiliary parking for 20
Well, but they could
permanent
move it
parking
To
spaces.
the top of the property.
And then what were you saying? What else was
Well,
happening?
Well, I mean, I was gonna say contiguous, but I understand
yeah.
the road is
The
there,
road
so you can't be
permanent.
contiguous, but
Yeah.
it also can't be at the north end of the property. I mean,
So,
it needs
so
to be,
in our motion, we did select,
Abutting.
or within a reasonable
Abutting
distance.
the lane, what's the
Yeah.
name of it?
So-
Bassett, abutting Bassett Lane.
so in our motion, we did select, we had two options, option 1 and 2. I think we chose 2. But we did leave it that it would still have to come back to us in town council, and we would have last final review on it. So I'll give you a copy of
Yeah,
the
we can
minutes,
maybe
you can
put in
see
here, option one.
Maybe it's
and two.
proximate.
Yeah, again, I'm just saying it would be no more than, 200 feet from,
Bassett Lane.
Bassett Lane or
Okay.
something, from where the road intersects Bassett Lane. Because, I mean, otherwise it could be, on the north end of the property and people are walking through.
And I can ask the chair to put that on the agenda to revise that if we had to. Okay? Got it.
Okay. So, next item on the agenda is just discussion of future hearing dates, topics. So, the next scheduled date
Yeah, that's what he wrote.
is
No more than
Um,
Already on the
from
25th.
Bassett Lane.
9:30 and 25th. Now, while we're all together here,
Hearing, so,
Amy,
Yes.
what is after we meet on the 25th, what is your anticipated time to have the final?
so it all depends on it all depends on if on the 25th, you just send me away with changes, then I can do the changes and we can get it filed with the town clerk. If on the 25th there's issues that we need to think about and come back, we have 40 days, because we're gonna close it on the 25th. We then have 40 days to issue our decision.
Right, but, all right, so,
I plan on giving you a complete decision to review on the 25th.
and can we vote at that time?
Yes, you can, if you have no changes. You can vote it, I think what we did with POV4 is we voted on it as amended in the meeting. And then I provided a final copy to Rachel, and that got stamped in it, signed and stamped at the town.
All right, okay. As I recall,
What?
we closed the public hearings at one meeting, and then we met on the daytime.
Correct.
On the final one, so that there was no more public comment, no more input from the applicant, and then we met separately to make a decision on the draft document. Okay.
Right, so, that, with Pine Oaks Village, they didn't work with us on the decision.
Right,
I thought maybe Penrose would.
and they have.
Well, they have so far, so I
Right.
thought maybe.
And we will.
I thought maybe you would want to.
Let's see to it. No, no,
So, what you could do, Mr. Chairman, is, I will give a copy of, when I submit the draft decision to Rachel, I'll submit it to Penrose also. And then when you open up the hearing on the 25th, they can talk about what they don't like. You guys can maybe have dialogue, then you can close the public hearing, and then it's just you.
then we can vote on the decision.
Yep. But then, and then it's just you guys. So then if you wanted to deliberate, you can deliberate without comment.
So, we actually, I was thinking, well, I had a schedule, we had to look at available date in July to meet to make a decision.
You
But-
might have to, but you might not.
You mean August? Can we try to find that date now?
Gotta
then?
be by the 2nd of
June
August.
25, the 25th, right?
Well, the
40
hearing is
days.
closing on the
25th.
25th,
And then of
At
June,
9:30.
and we have 40
40
days.
days, so we have to the 2nd of August.
In July, right, July 25th.
So-
Sorry, I'm off a month.
All right. Just in case, so
Or the 4th of August.
So you basically, early in July, let's say we don't, and you have to go back at it and redo things, and then we have to vote later, on another meeting. More than likely, that would happen in early July.
Sorry,
It's okay, all right.
John's fault.
my fault.
John, I mean, I'm gonna, that's two demerits. All right, so
you're looking for a
the chances are high that on the 25th, we could wrap everything up.
If all goes well.
The board can vote, and then once you have the final copy, you send it to the town hall and I sign it, correct? Okay. So there's a possibility the 25th is going to be a final open session, open public, public hearing. We're going to be closing it, and then
You have to close the public hearing
close the public hearing,
on the 25th.
and then issue, do our deliberation and decision at the same time. Do we have to post anything differently on this meeting, the 25th? The fact that the fact that we may close it out,
Doesn't matter.
we don't have to indicate that in a, all right, okay.
No.
So, well, I feel pretty good about where we're standing. I don't see a lot of issues that we've got left to discuss, correct?
Depending on what her 120 other conditions say, but I've seen a lot of 40B decisions. I assume they're gonna be pretty straightforward, by and large.
And remember, she's tough.
Well, yeah, I saw the way she smirked when I just said that.
All right,
Just because you said it.
Should we agree a just-in-case
Yeah.
date in July?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fine.
I
with me.
would.
let's find one. So, okay, so right now,
I agree.
okay, just so you know, Chris is available from the 17th to the 23rd of July.
So am I.
Okay. Okay, so Ken, you're available the
17th to the 23rd.
to the 23rd.
I am as well.
Al?
I don't have a calendar in front of me, but I'll throw it down here. And I'll make my decision when I see my calendar.
All right, so take a look at, let us know about the 17th to the 23rd.
Are you also available, Ryan?
Yeah, good, that was a good call. I want to do the Mullen, I don't want to do the Mullen last meeting. Yeah,
23rd is a Thursday, and those are always the safe days that the room will be available.
Sorry, what was that?
The 23rd is a Thursday,
Yeah,
and that's always just the
yeah.
safe day that this room will be available.
It will be available.
yeah, keep in mind, we're probably going to end up meeting and make it a daytime meeting if we do this.
Why?
Why?
I don't know, I like this, but okay.
I don't blame you, I like the daytime.
I do think during the day.
But we're flexible regarding day or evening regarding those times. Because if we have to, we can schedule a meeting for the small meeting room. We can find someplace in this town hall with an office.
Rachel's office.
I mean, No, seriously, I mean, it shouldn't be, we don't need to be here, we can be in a small meeting room, we could,
We have to have video though, right?
yeah, we have to
It needs to be
video,
recorded.
must be recorded.
23rd is available
So, 23rd, right now,
In the morning.
why don't we look at,
Yeah, my daughter's coming in the evening.
so what, you're available?
23rd can't be an evening meeting.
All right, so 22nd, I mean, that's one of curiosity, what does the 22nd look like?
Fine.
Rachel, in the rooms,
Oh, boom.
For evening,
day or evening?
for the July 22nd?
Yeah,
So conservation, or no, planning has the room.
at night?
Yep.
And what about daytime?
Well, I would sooner do the 23rd in the daytime than the 22nd, but I would sooner do evenings, but whatever works.
I
We can
think
do the
it,
23rd in the day if you have to.
I
it
mean,
sh-
we do late afternoon. If you just don't want to blow a midday, you want to be out fishing.
It's a tuna day. I don't get back till 5 o'clock at night.
23rd during the day?
23rd during the day, it sounds like.
And I could be here till about 8.
In the evening?
Yeah.
Well, that's not morning.
All right.
Just pick a time, Brian.
Well, we'll confirm it on the 25th, okay? So right now,
Can't set it now.
we're gonna meet the 22nd or 23rd. It's the 23rd, we can meet at 6 o'clock. Would that work with you?
It would, but I don't want to, we can't lose Chris at 8 o'clock if we got
But
more to do.
it's gonna be a quick, it may not be.
I don't know, it's 10 minutes to 10 right now, so.
Exactly.
You'll have a better idea on the
We'll know on the
25th,
25th, so
yeah.
we'll firm things up. But right now, guys, try to keep your calendars open between the 17th and the 23rd.
Oh,
okay.
we just said the 23rd.
I understand, but we picked some dates, everyone thought they were available between the 17th and 23rd at some point.
And I get up at 4 in the morning.
So when are we, can't keep it open forever?
I'm not going to keep it open forever, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, so
John said he's available 23rd.
what, you available the morning, 23rd, John?
I can make
God, my entire house
Chris?
is at 6:30.
23rd's fine till about 8 in the evening.
Okay.
Turn to Cinderella.
So we're gonna meet, if we meet after the 25th, it's gonna be on July 23rd. And more than likely be daytime.
Now, if we, so the only thing we have to keep in mind is that we have to close it on the 25th, or we have to get an extension. If we close it on the 25th, we can still meet on the 23rd of
Right,
July.
'cause it's within 40 days
If we
or
want to
whatever.
keep it open, we have to extend the 180 days, which we haven't done yet, which is really, really admirable of you guys.
We actually have to July
We almost
7th,
always
don't we?
have to extend the 180 days, and we haven't this one.
Yeah. I think we have to July 7th or
We
something
do,
like that.
July 7th, yeah.
Which is not July 23rd.
No, I realize that, but just, okay,
It's daytime.
all right.
Okay.
It's motion time. So I'd like to make a motion to continue this hearing. I move to continue case number 2026-01, Penrose LLC agent and applicant, Harwich Affordable Trust, owner to a scheduled public hearing on June 25th, 2026, at the Harwich Town Hall, 732 Main Street, starting not before 7:30 a.m. in the Griffin Room. Do I have a second?
7:30 a.m. or
No,
9:30?
I mean, 9:30 a.m.
Wait a minute.
Sorry, I read it wrong.
Early meeting.
So we're gonna have a revision here, starting not before 9:30 a.m. Well, that's included, the 7:30 covers that as well.
I second that motion.
Okay,
All in favor?
Aye.
okay, it is now 9:53, we're adjourned.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.